All right, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Peter Pappas.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for coming back, man.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I got invited to a podcast a few weeks ago. It turned into a hangout.
Yeah,
with you
yeah,
and
it
Brennan.
did.
You know, it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was a good conversation, too, but your microphone wasn't on.
Yeah, it's okay. I probably said fuck too many times, so it's probably okay to redo this. You know,
I don't know.
I
on this
am.
podcast.
I am more of a political animal. Or supposed
Yeah,
to be.
you're
I'm
supposed to be.
I'm supposed to have more decorum than I do.
Supposed to have more decorum. Well,
Yeah,
you know what I think
definitely.
about
Yeah,
that.
yes,
Fuck
I
decorum.
think-
I don't like decorum.
Yeah,
I think it's gay.
Oh my god.
Not gay as in homosexual.
Right,
gay as
right.
in
Let's
like,
say gay like in the 80s.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
like
rainbow.
we
That's
grew
just
up.
gay.
Yeah, it's just gay.
Yeah, that's just not what we want to do. But
Yeah.
we defend your rights, gay people.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
I'll stand up for you. Just don't expect me to be gay.
Just don't look.
Yeah.
I'll stand
Yeah,
up for you, but I ain't bending over for you.
So let's see. What's been going on?
Oh man, I was down last week.
You tried to infect
coincidentally,
us.
it was the day
Yeah.
after that
Right.
you were here.
Yeah.
I went and you were vaccinated.
You're making fun of my vaccination.
Yeah,
I remember
and then I
that.
went down
Yeah.
for the fucking count. And I have a theory on that because probably about 4 days before that, I was at a Bruce Springsteen concert. And you
Okay.
know all them liberal fucks are goddamn.
Yes, they are.
They're all
absolutely.
vaccinated.
Yeah. Well, they're also like octogenarians. So what were you doing at a Bruce Springsteen concert?
You know,
He's not the boss anymore.
Yeah,
He's-
okay, so I started.
Your
playing
parents were there, right?
No,
Or
no,
some-
no, no, no.
Okay.
Me and Jody went. I started
Okay.
playing guitar, and I suck at it. But Bruce Springsteen's got some songs that are pretty
Right.
dope that we grew up,
Yeah,
Fire,
before the artists all got woke.
Yeah. But my theory on that too is, man, if I based my musical taste on political beliefs, I
There'd be
would have like
nothing
two
left.
artists.
Yeah, there'd be.
Like-
Well, and I think about that too. But it's like, look, hey, assholes.
Yeah.
Be the artist.
yeah.
Shut your
Well, like
mouth
Dolly
when
Parton.
it comes to.
Dolly Parton stuck to that her whole career.
Yeah,
Still does.
I mean,
yeah.
just be impartial. Just you're an actor, you're a singer. Just dance, monkey.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah,
do your
yeah.
marionette thing,
Mhm.
and just keep your shit quiet.
Yeah, I agree with that. If I was the entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think what happens is nowadays, maybe in the last 30 years, maybe 20 years, the escape velocity that they have gained, the money they have made, they can say and do whatever they want.
Right. Well, it doesn't affect their business.
It doesn't affect their
Yeah.
money, their business, unless what we were talking about in the last podcast, media, the big media finds something, then they can turn the
Right.
switch and make you into a villain. But as long as you stay off of big media's radar,
Right.
you can say and do whatever you want because most of the people that are fans, they're clueless. They don't know what the guy's talking about. They hear Ashton Kutcher say something, or Kutcher. I say Kutcher.
Country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hear him say something, and he was cute and all that, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and that's their political view.
Right.
But
That's where it ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't dig deeper.
no,
Yeah,
not at all. Not at all.
Well, again, I just want them to sing and dance and say the lines and entertain me.
Me too.
I don't
Me too.
care because you studied a political person for your movie. That
Yeah.
you know politics. Just
Well,
shut
in
up.
Bruce Springsteen's case, he was like the musician for the working man.
Right.
I mean, he always looked like he just come off a shift at the damn
Right.
pipe factory. His music was kind of raw like that, and then most of his clientele at concerts were like steel workers, and I don't know, they just kind of picked
Well,
him.
I
but-
remember when my brother and I were looking for porn in my dad's motorhome, we discovered a Bruce Springsteen box set. My immigrant dad had.
Yeah.
So like that was like
Yeah,
a
he's
very blue
huge.
collar, very American,
Yeah.
thing. But now he's just another liberal pansy.
But his music is
know,
timeless.
well,
I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was kind of disappointed because he only played 2 of the songs that, if you're not a Bruce Springsteen fan, but you listen to the radio in the 80s,
Right.
you would know
You would
these
have heard,
songs.
yeah.
But he didn't play the ones that I knew. But even the songs that I'd never heard before, it was still a good show. But my theory on this is, you vaccinated vandal motherfuckers, your genes have been so modified from your boosters and all that shit,
Right.
that now when viruses get on you, they mutate into something stronger, like
something that goes and attacks the non-vaccinated.
it's
Yes.
something that So when I catch a regular sniffle from you vaccinated fucks, it almost killed me.
Well, you're welcome. I mean,
Like, it's working the other. Like, I always had this theory that they were gonna. Like, I never took a flu shot, and I've always had this theory. I think going back to about 2001, that they were training the population to get vaccines.
Right. Well, what
so
was
when they wanted to,
wasn't that smallpox with the army? Or
yeah.
Is that
Well, 2002.
or anthrax?
Well,
Okay,
no,
anthrax.
2002, we got they re-released the smallpox vaccine. Okay,
Right.
I went ahead and got that one because I was new in the Army, and my parents, all of our parents had that scar on their arm.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, no big deal, and I wasn't as immersed in the government being.
Well, your parents had that scar, which meant they were cured.
Yes.
So here's a vaccine, soldier. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But that's not the case anymore.
No.
It doesn't.
There's no money in that.
It's a therapeutic.
Yeah, there's no money in the cure.
Yeah,
Come on,
no,
man.
why?
We've known that since AIDS.
Well,
Ain't no money in the cure.
Well, yeah, Fauci's been out there for how long?
Yeah.
40 years? And AIDS isn't solved?
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
But they got therapeutics.
It's like Chris Rock said, what they hope is, sometime in the future, you're going to be at work coughing, and I'm going to be like, hey, Pete, you feeling okay? You'd be like, nah, I'm good, man. It's just my AIDS. My AIDS just acting up a little bit,
That was in his new special, I think.
My niece, it was on one of his specials. Yeah, it was funny. Ain't no money in the cure.
Well, did you see that new Chris Rock special
yeah.
on Netflix?
Yeah.
I like the way he handled being smacked around by Will Smith.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever admit publicly that you can beat me, so you're not that big of a...
Yeah.
That to me is like rolling over, but I think he handled it.
He handled it well, and I think it still makes Will Smith look like a biggest asshole that he is.
Yeah.
I'm
still convinced.
He lets his wife get handed around like a charcuterie board at a white girl party.
I don't want to comment on that either so much because, I don't know. I know some dudes that have let their old ladies they're still, this is way they're still with their old ladies.
Okay,
you know what
that's
I'm saying?
fine.
So
if you want to swing around, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fine. But don't be mad when somebody calls it out.
Yeah,
you're complicit.
Well, before he got smacked, he didn't say nothing about that. He just made fun of her head, her hair.
Well, it's funny.
It was funny.
I mean, yeah.
And he laughed.
Some shit's funny.
He laughed.
Yeah.
If you watched it,
comedy is supposed to be controversial.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. That's where I can tell you I'm glad to see that with this woke cancel culture, some of the comedians rolled over.
They did. But I think they're starting to roll back.
Guys like Chappelle, Joe Rogan, Louis C.K.
Yep.
A lot of these other, like even Andrew Schultz. Well, he was you don't know who he is?
No,
he's
know.
Fucking hilarious. Right. He's a younger comedian, and you typically, for guys our age, everything younger sucks. But Andrew Schultz is fucking awesome.
Yeah, there wasn't any good music made.
But they went against the grain and didn't give in to the woke cancel culture, and it boosted.
Right.
I mean, think about where Joe Rogan's at right now. Every time he puts his mouth to the microphone, 12 million loyalists
also
are
he's
listening.
on there for 3 hours? Holy shit.
Well, that's great. That's a long-form conversation.
I want to listen to him, but 3 hours.
What you got to do?
I got a job, man.
What you got to do? How I do it, and I listen to all of his shows. I don't always finish them because there's another one comes out. You get Spotify. You put it on in your car, and I don't listen to music when I'm driving.
Tried. I mean, I was like,
I listen to it. I get in the car, I stop. I'm probably in and out of my truck 80 times a day when I'm busy. It may take me a week to listen to one.
Well, I've noticed too that the people he puts on, I don't know, I have to Google who he's putting on. Then it's like, oh, that's a pretty. So you can judge the guest by.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
That's
See, I've learned now. I used to just kind of select what I was going to listen to, based on if this guy was interesting or somebody that I liked. But now I've learned so fucking much from people. I don't know who this guy is. And what I like about the Rogan style is he'll bring on a guy who's pro, like he's a scientist and he's backing the vaccine and saying that COVID is something we need to be worried about. Right. Then he'll bring on a doctor, scientist that is basically the opposite. Treats it like
a courtroom.
It's like open and long form conversation. If I told you right now, I need you to come in here, we got a 5-minute segment. 5 minutes. You got to tell me everything that's about your campaign. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your life in 5 minutes. Ain't nobody gonna know who the fuck you are. Brevity, you're gonna get talking points.
Well, and it's tough. Brevity's hard. But it's also important to be able to sum it up and just get to the point. Or else you lose
sometimes.
People. I mean,
sometimes I think the culture's changing. Our generation and up, when it comes to like podcasts, is probably the percentage is a lot lower. Millennial, I guess. XY.
Is it millennial or zennials now? I don't know.
I don't know. But I can tell you right now,
as diverse as the
my
whole
son,
LGBTQ whatever.
Right. My son doesn't watch any TV.
Really?
Nothing. I try to get. He's 11. He's 12.
Early
he's 12.
teen. Okay.
And there's shows out there that are maybe a little advanced for him, like Outer Banks. It's a little advanced for a 12-year-old.
Does he watch YouTube videos of people playing video games?
He watches.
Watching YouTube videos?
He used to. That's not cool. Now he's on like Twitch.
Okay.
And it's just people playing video games.
Okay.
And you watch them or somebody doing like what we're doing.
I mean, is he learning from what they're doing? I'm not
he's
just
smart.
Your son, but I mean, is he?
I'm telling you
is
right
it
now.
There like to learn from these guys?
No.
Or is it just to
no, he's just
mindlessly
living
watch?
life. He's just living life.
All right.
Now, what I do is, because he's homeschooled, which was the best decision I ever made, I will make him, for like history class, you're watching Band of Brothers.
Okay.
You're watching Saving Private. You're watching The Longest Day. I know that's Hollywood, but there's a story in there, and some of it's based on. And then for like an assignment, I'll make him watch Ancient Apocalypse.
I was going to say, don't say Ancient Aliens, please. Don't go there.
I like Ancient. That's like my religion.
God.
What are you talking about?
Well, go back to Band of Brothers for a minute. I remember watching that, and I actually ended up reading Major Dick Winter's
he's
biography.
I met him.
I think he did.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad thing to do. Let him see the drama, and then let's go dig into a book.
And what you just said about Ancient Aliens, I will let him watch that for one reason, because he'll go to his grandparents' house and they're Christians. And my dad's still Catholic. My mom is like a Pentecostal.
Okay, now you started off as a good Catholic boy, buddy. Don't
I
bullshit
did.
me.
No,
okay?
yeah, I started.
We went to the same.
I was
kind
of dragged into that cult.
Right. Well, you need a little discipline. It didn't take.
It didn't take.
It
didn't take. I don't know. I left there in 4th grade, and I think that they were like on the verge of throwing me out anyway. You remember Sister Margaret Mary?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, I think we were there right after they had to put down their rulers. Like, they weren't able to smack us.
We didn't get none of that.
We didn't get any of that. No.
I'm sure
and
they
the
wanted
priests,
to get a hold of my
weren't good
ass,
enough
though.
looking, for that. So.
Yeah. We neither one of us. Hey, was a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Who was his name? Kevin? Father Kevin? Fuck you. I was good-looking. I didn't have.
I always felt we were calling a priest by his first name. That to me lends itself to he's a pedo priest. Like, call me by my. No, your father O'Malley. You stay over there.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Even as a kid, when we were doing our communion and we had to like go in there and do the confession. First of all, I lied. I never gave a confession.
I didn't lie.
I
lied.
But
I didn't do anything bad.
You didn't do nothing bad, Peter. You were a good kid.
I've always been a good boy.
I don't even remember you saying bad. I was trying to think the other day, just going back to that time period. If anything that, as I remember Marco Valente?
Oh yeah,
he was like my. He was like my damn my road dog.
He was like the badass.
Yeah, me and him were like friends. And then I ran into him in our high school years, and he was kind of like a preppy, and I was like skateboarding, looking, smoking weed, and he acted like he didn't want to have nothing to do. He was like, I don't, because I was hanging out with some dirt bags. He was like, hey buddy, how you doing? He didn't want to catch up on old times. But I never trusted the priest ever, and I never trusted them.
I don't know. I had I had it from both sides. I had the Greek Orthodox from my dad's side, and then I had the Catholic schooling. And then the church, what did we go to church, like on Tuesday mornings or something? We had to go in there.
I remember,
you were probably out lighting fires or some shit. Who knows?
I was probably in detention.
Probably.
Do you know why I left? I'm going to tell you why I left that school. There's two incidences. Do you remember Richard, was it Coney? He was older than us. His dad was a big real estate guy, Coney. Okay. Well, he was a bad kid. Okay. But rich dad. And he kicked a window at the new school. And he kicked the window and broke it. Wow. And remember how you used to line up? All the older kids would line up, and then we would line up. So I got accused of that. And so they finally found out that he did it. But then about 2 weeks later, Zach McLean, I think it was Zach McLean.
That name I know.
Yeah. He was, I think he brought some actual flares to school.
I do remember
that he took from my house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
you were connected.
So they found them, and they blamed me for bringing them. I had no idea. I didn't even know what it was. He actually had I think he had the mechanism for firing them too.
Okay.
I didn't have any idea. So when they found out that it wasn't me, they still said, well,
it came from you.
Zach McLean, because that's, and I'm not saying anything if he ever watches this, but he was a good kid, and if he was going to be a delinquent, then I had to have contributed to that.
See, that was my middle school. I had a best friend that, like, if I got in fights, he got blamed. My parents never got called. See, he was like the Don King of our middle school. Like, he'd go fight that guy. All right, But they would look at me like, oh, he's a good boy. He would never, So.
That's because I think it had more to do with who was backing you and who was making donations, who's bringing the 8-foot sub to school after field trips.
What's the point of being successful?
Tell you something.
You can't help a friend.
There was a group of us at St. Patrick's that really didn't belong there. I would say how many people were there. A lot of the Delta Force guys, their kids went there.
Yeah.
And now they were all enlisted guys. Now St. Patrick's was like back then. You know, I remember my dad dropping me off at school in his red truck that he still has.
Right.
And in front of us is a Porsche.
Right.
You know, and there were Mercedes. It was more like for rich kids. Not that there was any rich people in Fayetteville, but like you know,
well, it was more the people that could afford
They
to
could
send their
afford
kids
it.
to private, and I felt that way especially when I went to Fayetteville Academy. I wasn't really an academy kid.
right.
Like
Right.
I would when I left school, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Because your parents were successful, but they were hard work, like
Well, when I left
restaurateurs.
school, I'd go to the shop and I was bagging bread.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and my dad wouldn't let me go to any of the parties on the weekend because he knew damn well parents weren't around
Right.
and there was drugs, alcohol, which I wanted, but
yeah.
I never did. So
Me neither.
you know,
I never found my way towards
never,
that
never
stuff.
yeah. Well, you know, but it was always our backgrounds made us unique to where we didn't quite fit into that rubric. Of,
Yeah, I got you.
You know,
yeah.
it just
See, that was kind of like with, I think it was, now you remember the Alvarez?
Daniel Alvarez.
Daniel and Desi was the older brother.
okay.
There was some others. I don't want to say their names because I don't know how they feel about that, but some of it's weird because the way I looked at it, Delta Force was kind of separated into two categories. You had like two squadrons, A and B squadron, but the guys that my dad hung around with were like, they would wear running shorts, combat boots, and flannel shirts, and they drank beer out of a can, and they were just men, like,
Did they drink Bud Light though?
Okay.
No, I think they regret that.
Miller Lite was the big beer, or Olympia.
Miller Lite.
You know,
Okay,
they drank a lot of
Olympia.
Miller
Okay.
Lite. You know, back when you could drink and drive.
Right.
But then there was a contention of guys that would use their clothing allowance and buy like Duck Head and Lacoste, and so their kids were kind of fit more in with St. Patrick's. Well, I'm on the real blue collar side. So like everybody was wearing fucking Converse.
Yeah.
You had a fucking pink one and a yellow one on each foot. You know, I had one pair.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? So I never, thank God I was young at that time because I didn't pick up on that at all.
Nobody cares.
I didn't
we just
pick up
wanted
on
a
it until
pair
I
of
got
shoes to go
back,
play. Yeah, I mean, you didn't until 6th, 7th grade. You don't really care.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
run those Bobos from Walmart. You know those.
Do you know, I was thinking about, I don't know why I haven't thought about him in a while, and I kept up with him for a while, was Chris Mackey. What do you know about him? Where's he at in life?
Facebook. He's a
Big time liberal motherfucker. ain't
Yeah,
he?
big time, and he's obviously a disabled advocate, or I'm sorry, a uniquely abled advocate. What do you say now?
Disabled.
I mean, he had spina bifida.
I tell you,
I mean, he was,
is that what it was? I never knew what he had.
spina bifida, and he had the crutches, and he would hit you with them once in a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was a nice guy.
He was a good
and-
kid.
Yeah,
Actually, he was like, what you would think if you summarize my younger days at elementary school, you would think that I was a bully, or but he was one of my. He was in the pack. It was like me, him, Marco, Paul McCardle. Remember Paul McCardle?
I remember Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember
you still talk to Paul by any chance? I've spoken to him. Well, he's
I have
on Facebook.
I have on
whatnot, but
Facebook in the last like 15 years or so.
It's weird.
I shut down my pages.
Non-liberal as we are, we use the liberal tools.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
We'll use your tools, liberals.
I tell you what. Are you on Truth Social?
No, I am not.
See, I am,
Yeah,
but I never
don't-
use it.
I don't.
And then you got Rumble, but I still use
Well,
YouTube.
I'm also on Facebook, and it's like when I see people, they're taking my rights away.
Yeah.
They can't. It's like, you asshole. It's not you don't pay for this.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's
like,
free.
Shut your mouth.
And it's a private business.
If they want to censor you, then that's what they can do.
I think I hate it because and that was leading me to why I haven't kept in touch with McCardle or any of these other people, is because I get my Facebook account banned. So I'll have to shut one down. So I've got 4 active accounts.
Not everybody wears it like a red badge of courage, getting in Facebook jail. I mean, you run towards it like it's your job.
I'm like,
man.
you can't hold me down, so I show up under a different name. But so some of the and then you got the fact that I've been married 3 times. So during those divorces,
So you're escaping prosecution,
yeah.
and, whatever. Yeah.
So but I kept up with a bunch of. I had a lot of and I was trying to find. I still have a few of our class pictures, and my mom's got them at her house buried somewhere. But I had a bunch of people on there. Mary Shanley, you remember her? No. Elizabeth Collins. Remember Elizabeth Collins?
Elizabeth Collins.
You can't believe I had a crush on her.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, I don't know why, because she was like real smart.
I mean,
nerdy girl.
We were 3rd, 4th grade. What the hell, crush?
First. I'm talking about first.
First grade. Well,
First and second grade.
should we be talking about having crushes on girls in first grade? I mean,
hey, I was.
you know,
well, I don't know how old we were then, but we're at the same age.
Yeah, it was same age. It's okay. Yeah, but so what else has been going on?
That's it, man. That's it. So
Just work and
nothing. So I guess we need to get more into you.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk about you because you're here. So we got to spotlight the fact. So why don't you again tell us now? Obviously, whoever's watching, they're going to know that we go back.
Yeah. So we go back away.
So what are you doing? What's going on in your life?
It's funny. I am doing a lot of stuff. So let's just start roughly born and raised here in Fayetteville. My dad immigrated from Greece in '68. So he married my mom. She was an Army dependent. Mm-hmm. So that's my background as far as parents go. I went to St. Patrick's, obviously, with you. Fayetteville Academy. Then I went to Emory University, and I graduated back here at Campbell.
Let's go to Emory University. Where is that?
Okay, so it's in Atlanta, and when I went, it was the number 16 school in the country. Mm-hmm. I went back for my 20, and I went to their Oxford College, which is an undergrad campus away from Atlanta. Well, I went back for my 20-year college reunion, which was 2018.
Right.
And the whole campus is so, they were asking, like, why don't you give money? And I'm looking around and I'm like, because you got fucking safe spaces and you
shit, really?
You know, Oxford and Emory they have very heavy Southern pedigree. Mm-hmm. Founded by the Koch family, not the Koch, the Pemberton family.
Coca-Cola, not
family.
the Koch brothers, yeah.
Yeah, not the Koch brothers. But great school. But since we graduated, my class, we all made the observation that, we're not going to give you money. You guys have, because that's where it was our formative years, and there was a Confederate graveyard. I mean, that's where the Dukes of Hazzard was filmed.
Okay.
The opening scene, Dukes of Hazzard, when the General Lee hits a clay hill.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
That's called Seney Hall, and that's the main building on our campus. But anyway, so I did the school thing and all, and last 25 years, I just been out.
No, stop. I want to talk about college.
Okay, all right.
I want to know what a white privileged son of an immigrant, hardworking sandwich maker does in college. Okay, so at Emory. Is that an Ivy League school or is that
it would be the Southern Ivy League.
Southern Ivy League.
Yeah, it's definitely private and definitely very expensive. And so I went a semester late. Because in senior year of high school, Dad says, "Do you want to open a restaurant?" I'm like, "Yeah!" Like I know.
Oh shit! Which one did you open?
So I opened the Ramsey Street location.
Okay.
Back in '96. Well, I was at Fort Bragg Road. I was doing like 83, 84 hours a week. Mm-hmm. Had my little briefcase in the corner because it was still briefcase time back then. And so while I'm working the line and stuff at Fort Bragg Road, I'm over in my briefcase planning contractors and I had to negotiate my first lease at 18 years old. Now, it was kind of a kid glove type thing. My dad knew the landlord, so he said, break my kid's balls, and, then I had to negotiate at 18. So I worked all through the summer, and then I got mono, which, honestly, I wouldn't mind getting it again. It was a hell of a weight loss program. I lost like 15, 20 pounds
Holy
on it.
Shit, how'd you get mono?
Well, they say it's a kissing disease.
That's what I heard. Yeah, I've never had it.
Yeah, I only was kissing 1 or 2 girls that summer, but I think it was just working 80 hours a week. Huh. But... So I deferred 1 semester. I stayed back. I worked. And then like a dumbass, because nobody in my family had gone to college. My mom went to FTI, for dental hygiene. But nobody in my family had gone 4-year college. So I'm of this mind that, okay, I graduated in 96. By 2000, I got to be done with undergrad. And by 2002 or 3, I got to be done with law school. Then I'm going to come back and rule the world.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I went a semester late. I worked way too hard. I did my entire associate's degree in like 3 semesters and 1 summer session.
Cool.
And I worked my ass off. And
no fraternity?
No, there was no time.
Okay.
I mean, I was taking 21 credit hours.
I don't know. I'm not a college guy. I don't know if that's a lot or not.
Your usual load in college would be like 16.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, 16 or 18. So I was taking at least 1 extra course to catch up because I thought, like there's a special dorm for you. If you
yeah.
So my dad just called me at one point. He knew I wasn't happy because I had to push through. I wasn't making the grades I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And he says, hey, look, I need some help. Do you want to come back home and, settle for a year? I said, sure.
Who took over the restaurant while you decided to go to college?
That was the 5th unit that we had at that time. So it was just we just had people.
Just kind of folded it
my
into the
parents,
mix.
my mom and dad were both still active, so
Okay.
it was no big deal. But, you know, I started looking at it. My dad, the immigrant,
Yeah.
you know, he's paying $28,000 a year for me to be there, and that was out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So he's busting his ass to put me where I'm at. I'm not getting the 4.0s that I know I can get, but I got too much. So I said, you know what, I'll take a shot. So I came home in '98 summer. It was the week of oh God, what happened that week? There was a murder that week.
In Fayetteville?
Yeah.
I was in the Philippines at this time.
The Fantasy Club, there was 2 strippers that this gang kidnapped when they came out after work and took them out to the field in Fort Bragg or shot them execution style.
Why?
Because initiation. They killed
gang.
Yeah,
gang
thing.
initiation.
So they killed the 2 strippers and they kidnapped the Bojangles manager from Rayford Road the same night.
Oh shit.
And, so it was the Bojangles manager was on Fort Bragg they tried to kill. They left her in a ditch. She survived, but the 2 workers did not. And I think they took her to a...
I hope they got in the gang. That's a lot of work.
They got on death row. And,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they got in the gang.
Yeah.
But
Aspirations.
their sentences were just commuted recently.
Oh wow.
But anyway, so that was the week I'm deciding to come home. It's like
Okay.
I'm looking at the paper like, oh good, dead strippers and a dead restaurant manager.
Hey,
that's great.
Vietnam ain't changed.
Let me come back. You know. So I came back and I just hit the ground running with the 5 stores of Baldinos, just making sandwiches and then here I am 25 years later. I opened 2 more stores in that time. Since I've closed some, did my commercial real estate the last 20 years. I've been licensed. I actually spoke to an agent this morning. She called me and she's asking me, well, do you have access? I was like, yeah, Suzanne, I'm fully licensed. I've been doing this 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't see you around much because I don't need to be around you guys.
Yeah.
I do I'm like in The Godfather, he says, I have a special practice.
Yeah.
One client. That's
private practice.
That's the way my real estate has been. It's always been very unique situations, and I love that. It's very it's not boring. Let's put it like that.
So you're still you're a realtor.
I am a realtor.
Realtor.
Yes.
Who's it? Williams? Is it Wendy Williams?
Oh yeah, Wendy.
It's not realtor.
Yeah,
it's realtor.
Yeah. Well, she's had me on her show.
Has she? Yeah.
During the election last year when I was running
Okay.
for city council. She's very knowledgeable. She's a great lady. She's like a state level representative for the national. Very
I used to
smart
listen because when I first started off in the trades,
Mm-hmm.
started off in landscape contracting, so I was always driving around, and I don't listen to music on the radio when I'm driving, and podcasts weren't a thing to me at that time. So I listened to Goldie, the morning show, and I'd hear all the. This is about the time that was it Tyrone Williams got hot mic'd. Trying to shake down the Prince Charles Hotel.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing.
Yep.
And then I didn't know nothing about local politics. I'm standing in the fucking Rainbow restaurant on Ramsey Street, and I look at the newspaper, and I look up, and Mitch Colvin's standing next to me, but it says Tyrone Williams, and it has Mitch Colvin's picture. So I think that's Tyrone Williams. So I walk over to him, and I'm like, hey, man, you're in the newspaper. And the owner of the restaurant, that's a Greek-owned restaurant too, right?
Absolutely.
She's like, oh, no, that's the mayor. And he laughed about it, and I said, oh, you're Mitch Colvin. I said, but didn't he run your campaign? So
I believe
you
he
act
did.
act like you didn't know that he was getting that money.
So
not that I blame him, but
running when I ran for office during early voting and stuff like that, I met Tyrone, and I'm not going to say he's completely absolved of any crime, but I don't think it was what he was portrayed. There was definitely other stuff.
I heard the conversation.
I don't.
You sound like
I'm
sound like you in the political machine. Let me say it for you.
I am not sticking up for the guy.
Let me say it for you. I listened to the recording, and the guy wants his part. He's asking about his parking permits, and Tyrone Williams is literally saying, "Well, and he uses Mitch. He uses his name, and he was like trying to get like $30,000 if he had $30,000.
There was something to do with the title though. Of that it was more to it than just that recording. I mean, believe me, what's the federal government good at? Locking up African Americans. Do you not think they would go after that guy?
I think that I think that if he was not on the Democrat if he was not under the wing of like the National Party and he was just some street level guy, then I think he probably would have been locked up. I think that they're kind of protected by the DNC. I think
it could be. I
make it go away. There's favors done because that's just the way. I'm not saying that he's a criminal. And that's how politics is done all over the world. That's how it's done all over the world.
Well,
and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's
it's
corruption."
one of those situations where if you're in office, you swear an oath to uphold and defend.
Yeah.
And you either take that sincerely, or you're getting that office to further your financial future.
You can do both, though.
You need to be detached. You have to be a person of morals and ethics to say, okay, this is my job, or this is my career and family. This is politics,
right?
And you can't enrich yourself. So a lot of these situations that we see in local politics, just step back. As a sitting council member or mayor, or whoever the elected official, whoever, if you know the person, even cursory, just step back. Why even bother to stay in the fight and have the image? I said on a podcast last year, you expect to be screwed by your government, but at least kiss me first.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just, they're so blatant about it now.
Yeah.
Things have gotten out of hand where they do shit like that. They've been recorded as doing stuff, and they're like, well,
it'll blow over.
Yeah.
Because the media has ultimate control.
Well, and they have a short attention span too.
But and the media knows that, is what I'm saying. If the media, we discussed this on the last time me and Brennan sat down. Look at Donald Trump as an example. Donald Trump in the 80s and the 90s was on Oprah all the time.
Yeah, he was the media darling.
He was the media. If you lived in the Northeast around New York City, New Jersey, he was in the newspaper every day. When he got married, it was like watching the funeral of the Queen, or when Princess Di. It was broadcast. It was a big event. Everybody who's who was there. The Clintons were there, and so they loved him. The media made him into that, okay? As soon as he went a different direction, the media flipped it, and it worked. So if the media were to turn around and decide, like, let's just say the media was going to hold the government accountable on both sides.
Shit, good luck.
If they were going to, which it's not going to happen. But if they decided to do that within 48 hours, and I said this, I mean what I'm saying. I believe it would only take 48 hours, and the whole country, the whole social mindset would shift in 48 hours, whereas in the 1980s, it probably would take like years of social conditioning.
Well, because in the 1980s...
Now the media's got so much control, they could flip it.
But differently, in the 80s, we had a, 30-minute newscast?
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Now it's, this is what happened, and let me tell you what you should
think about it. Not only that, like I said about the shooting that was in Tennessee, this is how it should have went. In other news, school shooting in Tennessee, blah, blah, blah,
I don't
6
care
dead.
that the assailant was a transgender.
Or that you should be ashamed of yourself because you're not calling her by his name or something like that.
I care about
and now
the
it
dead.
becomes the gun issue, and now it becomes Tennessee legislature is blocking this. They're trying to kick this person out. And then you say, now I found out from you that Kamala Harris shows up.
Well, no, she didn't show up for the school shooting.
She showed up for the
the two legislators in Tennessee that were
because
ousted.
Now the DNC is
because
getting attacked.
look, there's a woke fire. Let me go put it out.
Here comes the fucking DNC.
But screw the kids. They don't care.
No.
They don't care about Palestine.
No.
The train derailment and all that. And there's been like 2 other derailments since.
Yeah.
I don't see them flying her
That's
ass there.
Media. Because if they would just give us...
It's dereliction of duty. It's dereliction of the
big
office.
Time.
For shit's sake.
Big time.
We disagree about decorum in the office.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I'm the vice president of the United States and something like that happened...
Okay, let me walk back my comment about not liking decorum a little bit.
Okay.
I am all for decorum when it's maybe in a different environment. But the way our government is now, like you just said, they're blatantly corrupt.
Right.
They don't even try to hide it anymore. They don't try, rather than try to fucking hide it or stop doing it, which reminded me of a fucking joke on South Park about about the priests when they're like, maybe we should just stop molesting kids. And all the priests are like, nah. So rather than stop being corrupt or at least try to hide it, they just put a wall, a barrier around Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
They double down on it. Hey, if they ever try to come again, we're going to have our security.
Right.
But they're not going to stop doing it. So in that instance, if I could get into the room and be a part of the conversation, I would have no decorum. I'd call them out. I'd call Pelosi out. I'd call everybody out, and I would call them a jackass. I'd call her a cunt. I'd call her everything.
and they're immune because they're insulated with the wall of cash that they have accumulated at our expense.
Well, they've hit that escape velocity, especially people like. And I'm not just targeting the Democrats in this, but I don't like the Democrat Party.
It just seems like they're better at the shady shit.
They're better at it.
Yeah.
Because they're more bold. Like you got and I think, here's the thing though. I think the Republicans are complicit. I think that like guys like Mitch McConnell are like, hey, you keep taking the heat, kind of like in The Sopranos where nobody wants to be the boss,
right?
You know,
right.
let Junior be the fucking boss because
yeah.
he's wanted it. He's from the old school, but I want to be off camera. So if Mitch McConnell's asked a question, he'll maybe say, yeah, well, I don't agree with Alvin Bragg and blah 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 and all this shit, but he's not out on the front lines doing it because he's as corrupt as all of them.
Well, Trump had it right when he called it a swamp. Okay,
Yeah.
So I may have told you before, I worked for Congressman Charlie Rose when I was in high school for a summer. And he was a Democrat, but he was a Dixiecrat. You know, he was one of these Southern gentlemen, whatever, okay? And I was too young to give a shit, Republican, Democrat. I just wanted to go work Capitol Hill.
Right.
But the people that I worked with in that office, the legislative aides, the people that ran his office, the staffers, they're all part of the swamp. They generally stick with Democrat. If they're in the Democratic Senate, they're going to work for Democratic senators. They're not normally going to flip-flop parties.
Right.
But they're the machine. They're the ones that are there doing all this shit.
Yeah.
So whether McConnell admits to stock trading, manipulation that Pelosi's been caught doing, they all have the same back office people.
Yeah.
They are different flavors of the same shit sandwich.
Right.
I mean,
So
it's
when you get a guy in there that is like against that whole, they expect when they have this, and it drives me nuts. I can't watch it no more. Where they're like, Senator, thank you for that question. I plead the fifth. Senator, and they're like, I reclaim my time. Like I'd be in there like, man, fuck you, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I liked about Trump.
I will tell you that just gets you gavelled in city commission meetings. I've been there before.
Have you?
So,
Well,
absolutely.
I'm saying
So,
I actually had a fucking mind. I didn't realize the money it would take. And then there's rules to run for office as alter ego. I was going to run for mayor as not Laird Mayhew. I was going to run for mayor, but I was an alter ego. Basically, I was going to be like this, like cowboy hat wearing, like I'm the greatest rodeo bull rider ever, but I've never ridden. Like,
just make something.
And
I mean, George Bush was a cowboy. He went to
He
was born in New Hampshire.
I was going to wear
shit,
sunglasses. I was like, I could do this, and I could get enough people to get me in the conversation.
I remember you trying to make me do that when I was running. You're like, you need a persona. I'm like,
well, no, I told you that you needed to, in this day and age, that decorum that you mentioned last time we spoke about the Reagan era. You need to throw that out the window. If you're thinking that these city council people, and I'm sick of hearing it, they always say, well, yeah, I think we need to have a conversation about it. And I think Goldie was calling them out about their fucking retreat to Florida every year that's cost. And he's like, well, we can have a conversation. And they said it. And if I was sitting there, I'd be like, bro, how many fucking answer the goddamn question. Okay,
so what
you don't want to answer the question because you don't want to.
On city council is a lot of not very intelligent people. I ran for city council last year. I took the most votes of any other registered Republican that ran for any city office. I pissed off a lot of people in the Republican Party to the point that they've wanted me to leave the party now because I have my own opinion. Right. And I don't think that Democrats are stupid. I don't think that they're unreachable. I think that if you're in local politics, you have to deal with your neighbors. And sometimes
why even be in a party?
Because I've been registered since 18 years old, Republican.
So?
With the way I filed and everything, I filed like on the last day before it closed. I didn't want to switch my party to independent to look like that guy. I am what I am. I'm certainly not a Democrat. And in local politics, it's not supposed to matter if you're Republican, independent, or Democrat.
Yeah, but the support.
But there is no support from the party.
When you get on a ticket,
you get zero.
You didn't get no money, no money for signs. Who funded all your signs?
I did.
Okay.
My family and I, my father and mom, they gave me the maximum $5,400.
Right.
I put in $5,400, and I raised about.
What'd you do with the $200,000 that I gave you? Where'd that go?
Oh, I wouldn't talk about that.
I'm just kidding. I don't have $200,000.
But I think I raised about $18,000 on top of that.
Okay.
And I spent every dime of it.
Nice.
Now keep rolling. Okay. I've got I got a stack of signs left about this tall, so if I'm ready to run again in the fall,
There's no dates on them.
There's no dates, and I can just slap up. So I did move districts. So if I do run, I'll be running against Johnny Dawkins.
You'll kick his ass.
Well, look, Johnny helped me in the last election as far as giving me advice. He's kind of like the sage old guy.
Yeah.
I see him for
He's like your
breakfast,
rabbi.
You know. Well, no, we talked about the Jewish and Greek thing. He compared me and the Jews. I said, yeah, we're very close. Greeks and Jews, man.
Yeah, very. It's all
we
that
have
same little area.
Neurotic moms. We eat well. We're very close.
Italians and Jews are very similar too.
We're all of us.
Yeah.
All the Mediterranean
all of the
people,
Mediterranean area. Yeah.
We know how to eat. But anyway, the people on council, I think you hear, we're going to have conversation. We're going to have conversation, kind of kicking the can down the road. Do you really want them to make decisions with the people that just got elected and some that got reelected? I mean, look.
I want them to do stuff. I want them to do something, because if they do something, if they fuck it up, maybe people will actually see. But I don't think that anybody, especially in Fayetteville, I don't know anybody. And I'm guilty of it. I can't tell you who's who. I know the mayor, and I know that Jensen is the city council person for my area.
Right. Well,
but I don't know what they're doing.
Contrary to what my party agrees with, Mitch Colvin's been there for a long time. He knows the ins and outs. Kathy Jensen's been there, experienced. She has experience. Johnny Dawkins, very experienced. What has Colvin done? I'm not against Colvin. I run into him from time to time. We're not friends. I didn't really like the way he handled the when they had the riots and shit like that. But he's not special. He's probably told because he's got to be getting national attention. He has to be. He's the mayor of Fayetteville. I would think he has influence from the state level and down. But
like the Democratic Party.
If we talk about the riots for just a minute, the time for leadership and for them to act was at 1:00 that afternoon when Mayor Colvin and Chief Hawkins basically they did a little press conference. I can't really remember the setting, but basically
wasn't it at the memorial downtown?
I think it was. But the message was essentially, we stand with you. We agree with you. Your right to protest. But they didn't follow it up with this little disclaimer of, and we're going to have 100 cops downtown so everyone goes home alive.
Right.
They failed then. If they had waited, so that night, once stuff started jumping off and we sent police in, damn well it would have been a bad outcome. Mm-hmm. There's no way to have sent police into an already inflamed situation and not have somebody be hurt or killed.
Though? Like 5?
No, it was, I want to say 50 to 100 people were still down there. I mean,
where'd the bricks come from?
They were delivered.
By who?
Who knows?
Does anybody? This is what I'm talking about. We see it. We know it. I saw the pile. Mm-hmm. I seen the pile of bricks.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've seen pictures of it. It's happened all over the fucking world, all over the United States.
Yes.
Who's putting it there? How come nobody's investigating that? Why is nobody in the Fayetteville city, in our police department, in our city council, why are they not trying to get that in the newspaper so we all know that they're fucking doing something, or unless they're complicit and they're all a part of it?
Well, part of it is the way that our council management style works in the city of Fayetteville. So city manager actually has more power.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think the mayor should be like say Lightfoot or something.
Well, because we elect them, we would expect them to have more.
Because what was the Fayetteville? Give us an example. Just tell me what the mayor of Fayetteville, besides selling the city to like outside, like, hey, we got good land here. Why don't you put your Google factory here, whatever the fuck? Mm-hmm. What else besides getting fucking shopping carts off the road? Which I thought was actually the most I've seen from a local government initiative.
Well, have you seen the ordinance about weapons now?
No.
So what they want to do, and this is up for discussion. There's 2 big things right now, but the gun ordinance, essentially, if you're the victim of a crime that your gun gets stolen, they want to charge you with a crime of not securing the damn thing.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay. What kind of dumbass Democrat shit is that?
Well, that is exactly where
it come from a Democrat, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's the one thing that we need to fight against.
So if you steal my gun.
Yeah. If I steal it out of your car or your house because it wasn't secured, then I'm going to give you. So basically, you got a wound. Let me put some salt to it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think I will be speaking Monday night at City Council will be against. So my opponent that won, he was quoted as saying they were talking about extending the terms of council from 2 to 4 years.
I think I'm for
And
that. Go ahead.
Wait just a minute. I don't want these guys up there longer than 2 years.
Yeah, true.
So let's step through it. But my opponent says, okay, let me back up. City management, I think that's just a rule change that they can just make. But the best way to go about changing a term is to go to the referendum. Go to the people and say, look, do you want us to be here for 4 years or 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
My opponent was quoted as saying, well, I don't need to do that. Very flippant. Very Democrat of him,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's like, no, really, you should ask the people, because we had it on a referendum back in 2018.
No, because he's the
failed.
king. You know,
Well,
he's the.
Their argument is, well, we're council people, and we have to, if it's only 2 years, then as soon as we win office, we only have 6 months before we have to campaign again.
You know what? I kind of agree with that, Peter.
Well, okay, all right, but here's the thing. Hey, asshole. What does campaigning look like as a city council member or a county commissioner?
Yeah.
Campaigning looks like you going to your community watch
It's going to get a lot more.
You should be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
The campaign never stops.
Yeah. I don't think they
doing
get
your job.
I don't think these people currently I don't think any of them are in it for the good of the community.
No.
I don't think that there's not one person that's in it for the good of the community.
I would
because
disagree with you on a
Murchison
couple
Road
of
looks the
things.
fucking same.
Well, and so I'll quote that representative after he won re-election. He was very quiet during the election, but after he won re-election, he said that the reason he's been elected 10 times, which gives him now 20 years of service, is because, quote, his people love him.
Why?
And that's my question is why, or are you just paying the right ones to go vote for you?
Right. So,
I mean,
here's the way I look. I don't know.
We have a new fucking baseball stadium.
Yeah.
well, look, that's not the worst deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It was a joke.
no, but I get that is a point of contention in the community. However, it was built with bond money that is now guaranteed lease back from the league. So we get it's a wash. We put the money up front, but we get it back.
Get it back, yeah.
Not to mention the sales tax.
Plus the
revenue.
sales tax.
And
Yeah.
it has helped downtown. That is kind of the seed that we needed down there.
For sure. And
And
why doesn't Fayetteville have it?
So I have season tickets to the Woodpeckers. I have season tickets to the is it the Marksman?
Yeah.
Marksman
okay.
now, yeah.
So, in my opinion, we grew up here. We cannot bitch. There's nothing to do
If you
with
don't
Fayetteville
support.
If you don't support it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I have season tickets to the Woodpeckers on the first row behind home plate.
Right.
I was like one of the first dudes in line, and I never been to a baseball game before, but I said, shit, I think that's the best seat in the house.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's a good.
I
I
mean,
like to
I
be
like
behind
it.
first base.
I mean, I'm a little bit light complected. Sabina, the sun isn't so good, but but you're right there,
yeah.
and it's ours. And every time I walk in there, it's like, this is Fayetteville,
Yeah.
really?
No, I've been there 3 times, the 3 games. Yeah, Fayetteville could have. So I think I was in. I was in Georgia. I'm trying to remember where I was at in Georgia. Maybe in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Their downtown area. They have like the Chattahoochee River running through there, like we have the Cape Fear River.
Sure.
And they introduced.
But theirs, I think you could swim in. I don't think you can swim in the cave.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think you could swim in it until they.
Okay.
But they introduced rocks. They put fucking like foam rocks maybe,
Okay.
and they made it like rapids so you could do like whitewater rafting.
Okay.
And they have the old buildings, kind of like our downtown. It looks like our downtown, but there's more of an attraction there. There's more of a.
Well, we have all the elements, but they're spread out.
Well, what about okay? You know where your Baldinos restaurant is on 301, right across that area. That's down by the Cape Fear River.
It is.
There's a neighborhood back there.
Yeah.
That is owned. The land is owned by Fayetteville,
Well,
right?
They're going to open the homeless day center right there.
No, but I'm saying, why don't they demolish that whole neighborhood there and put a river walk down there like they've been talking about for 30 years?
There is a plan, and
It's been a plan for 30 years.
It was some meeting I attended last year. One thing that Fayetteville gets drunk on is consultants. We love calling a consultant to give us a plan that we can then take and put on the shelf.
Right.
We look at it and say, "Man, that's cool," and then we just put it on the shelf.
But so
we've been here. Well, I've been here my whole life since we were kids at St. Pat's. Do you know how many different plans have been devised for the downtown area revitalization?
Yeah,
probably 10.
I hear about it all the time.
But We were supposed to have a big like mountain type thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous how much money we've spent.
Well,
on
I
consultants.
remember this one occasion, this one instance, and I believe it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were trying, so Fayetteville, that neighborhood, I don't know what to call it. We call the people that are from there, like, I got friends of mine that live down there, we call them river rats. Okay. So
is that by the salvage yard?
all I know is, where's that pool?
Oh, but okay, so
there was a pool hall right down the street
down
from
by
you.
the Botanical Gardens is where they are trying to plan a Cape Fear River like access and walk, but
there's that. If you cross over 301 and you go behind, I think it used to be called John Jay's. Maybe it was a pool hall.
No, that was my building.
John Jay's is
go
your
the other
building?
way.
Okay,
Yeah,
that neighborhood back there.
Right.
Okay, they created that neighborhood back in the 50s because of Fort Bragg soldiers. The people in Haymont, the good people, the good white folks of Haymont didn't want soldiers living amongst them. So that was kind of like off-post housing for them. So the city of Fayetteville owns most of all that.
Okay.
Some of the people own their own lots. So the city was trying to buy those lots off of them, okay, for like $20,000, $30,000. And a lot of people were selling because a lot of them houses are falling apart anyway.
Well, right.
But there was a few people in there they're smart. And they're like, well, you're going to give me $30,000 for this house. And as soon as I'm the last 3 houses, you're going to rezone all of this. And that property is going to be worth millions. So how about give me like $300,000? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
So why don't the fucking city say, okay, you know what? This fucking guy's right.
The city doesn't negotiate. Okay. The city, it's kind of like in Vegas, the house always wins.
Yeah.
Government's going to always win.
Yeah, but they still win.
They can wait you out.
They would still win.
That's
what I'm talking about.
You're
not doing what you were elected to do. If I voted for you because I want this city to progress, and you're like, well, I'm going to wait this guy out because he's trying to get over and make an extra $250,000. Well, give him the fucking money.
The role of council person is to keep a check on, in my opinion, to keep a check on city management. I was asked during the campaign, well, you don't like the city manager? I said, I don't like or dislike him. And his name's Doug Hewitt. He's a nice enough guy. Do I think we can do better? I do. Not that Doug's a bad guy. It's because he's been with us for I want to say over 10 years, maybe 14 years.
Was he elected?
No, he was hired.
So what? I don't understand that.
My point is, he came to us when we were a much smaller city. I mean, you remember Fayetteville 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We're much different than we were now.
30
so
years
when asked,
ago,
do you have a problem with the city manager? Not really, not personally, but why don't we get somebody from Atlanta Metro or one of these larger cities to take us from 300,000 people in our county to 500,000?
Right.
Why don't we get somebody with some outside experience?
Yeah.
And again, I have nothing personally wrong with.
Well, it's business at that point.
Yeah.
It's like you brought us from typical military town.
He's the one that brought us to the dance, but now the dance has just gotten so big.
Yeah.
We need somebody with.
God, I imagine the money he's gotten in kickbacks over the years.
Well, he gets paid about $220,
no, I'm
$240
saying,
a year.
I'm saying how much he's gotten under the table.
He's got the $240 standard, and then whatever goes his way, it's all tips.
Yeah.
So,
because I mean, I say.
Brandon, you got.
Sorry, I'm sitting over here itching, and I should have a mic. But how do you feel about this? I want your honest opinion. What you just said, for us to grow to the size of like a pretty major rural city, we have the crime problems of like Oakland, California.
Right. Per capita, if you put it on the scale,
Really?
So that, in my head, I'm thinking, holy crap. It's weird. I'm a transplant, but I love Fayetteville. I've fallen in love with it. It's grown on me. This is home, period. And I thought
like a good fungus should. Yeah. It is home. I think I had that discussion this morning with somebody. She says, don't you like to travel? I said, this is home.
Right. And it's no more dangerous or less dangerous here than where I grew up out in California in the 90s. But, that's a major issue. If we grow to the size of like a metropolitan where we've got a couple million, what's that going to do to the crime rate? It doesn't seem...
Increase it?
The sheriff stated that, crime's... It's safer than it's ever been in Fayetteville. I call bullshit, period. But
so the police chief we had, Harold Medlock, he was before Miss Hawkins. There was a shooting at a strip joint back when he was chief, and I remember him on the news, and he says, the quote was basically, if you're home in bed at 2 a.m., you're very unlikely to be shot in the city of Fayetteville. Like if you're not out looking for trouble or around where trouble happens, you're probably not going to get affected by that. Now, that doesn't stop people breaking into cars, whatever. I don't think the way to get away from the crime is by policing it to death. I don't think we want a police state here, but you need police that have good leadership. With the leadership needs to have the guts and balls to be able to support.
Listen to what he
their
just
officers.
said, though. He said, "Okay, I'm in charge of policing crime in this city. Okay, how much? If I just told you, well, if you're at home like a good boy, you won't be affected by the crime. How about you don't worry about what the fuck I do and what time I do it? How about you take care of the fucking crime? Maybe I like to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning. I shouldn't have to fucking worry about it.
If it's a drug-related incident with prostitutes, I mean,
maybe I like prostitutes and drugs.
Hey,
don't mean I gotta get
Go
fucking
to Vegas,
killed.
man. That's where it's legal.
It happens in Vegas.
No, I get it. But you know, you can't.
We're
not going to suit every situation.
This is kind of leading towards what you just said is kind of funneling the conversation towards how do you fucking correct it. Okay. And I'm going to say that it is a societal problem.
Absolutely.
Because we don't attack poverty. We don't care about poor people. We don't give a fuck about poor people.
You have 3 generations raised on video games where they kill somebody and they get another life. The value of life has gone down. Number one, people they don't respect themselves. They will never respect their community, their peers, their elders, anybody. If they don't know to get up out of bed every day, shit, shower, and shave, pull your pants up, and make something of yourself.
That's an impossible, what you're saying there is impossible to achieve. Because you want everybody to raise their kids the way you see fit.
No, that's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. So let's not even go down that road. Let's assume that
it's not
you're
about
right,
raising,
but that's in a perfect world.
It's more you, buddy, me, Peter, you, Brennan. We're not going to be the men we are if we don't. We understand every day we got to get up and serve somebody or something. We have to take care of our families. We got to take care. But that. My Vietnam era grandfather, that was what he said, Pete. Every day, no matter how you feel, shit, shower, shave, slap yourself.
But that's not being observed by the majority. And in the next 20 years, it's going to get worse.
It will.
So to say, well, it starts at home, and parents should do this and that. Let's assume that would be perfect if we could all do it. That's not going to happen. So let's go to the next option. Let's not even bring that up anymore. Okay. So we can all safely say that if every parent raised their kid with respect your fellow man, or if the communities, such as is like you would find in
if the community
Hawaiian
would penalize when they got out of line.
Yeah.
I hate to invoke Hillary Clinton, but it takes a village. To raise that idiot.
So what else do we do? How do we take care?
So
it's obviously it's happening. Not that. I don't need nobody splitting hairs on me about, lacrosse teams raping strippers and then turning her into the villain. It happens everywhere. But how do we attack the poverty problem in this country? We didn't even say this country, in Fayetteville.
Okay.
You've got, what do we have? We have Bonnie Doon, and we've got Murchison Road, and we've got Eureka Springs. Those are the places that I know of.
So Bonnie Doon, Eureka Springs, that's Shawmill Road down that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big donut hole that the city decided when they did the Big Bang annexation in the early 2000s, they just skipped it over completely because they didn't want the tax revenue because it wouldn't offset bringing the services to that area. So there's a big donut hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, number one, the city needs to annex those areas to give them the services they deserve. And services go beyond
how is that going
to
increase wages for people and bring people out of poverty?
So
I get what you sound like a politician right now, and I respect that, but my job is to pull the real shit out.
There is, from Shawmill Road, with what 2 miles away is the Amazon fulfillment center that's sitting empty right now because Amazon
is that going to serve that community?
It will. So what I've learned about that through economic development people, if Amazon chooses not to open, which they're it's their building, they can do what the hell they want.
Mm-hmm.
If they decide not to open, this is directly from EDC director, he can fill that space with other businesses. So it's not the end of the world if Amazon does not open. And frankly, I don't think Amazon's that great of an employer.
But even if they opened up, okay, that seems like a solution maybe that has been tried before. Let's bring in a big conglomerate to open up a business around poor people. I don't think I'm talking more like if
What's
let's
the
just imagine that
available
poor
to the people in that neighborhood?
Let's just imagine that area we're talking about, that donut hole. If we treat that like it's a pandemic, okay, it's a national emergency. These people, not that if you live there, I'm trying to get people out of the $30,000.
You're not hiding your diamonds and furs if you live down Shawmill Road.
Right. So how do we? If me and you. Okay, if we had $1 billion or we had a bunch of people that donated and we raised $1 billion, now we've got to go in there and we've got to turn this community. We got 10 years to turn this community around and make this a thriving part of the community. Now, you could go in and buy up all the real estate and push all those people out and gentrify the area. That's
right.
That's been done. Don't want to do that. Okay, because all that does is transplant the problem. And it can be a little racist. Okay, it can be.
Well, I mean,
even though it's good for the tax base and all the rich people, how do we fix it? They don't know what they want. If they knew what they wanted, they wouldn't be.
Well, then we can't fix it if they don't want it to be fixed. And that's where it goes back. That was the gentleman that won city council. My people love me.
Right.
Well, why doesn't he love them back? Why hasn't he in 20 years done something? And what's the extent of a council person can do? Advocate for his citizens if his citizens ask for something. But see, they're not asking because he's not making it known. A good council person is going to relay what the city is doing. One example, last week I saw a council member, she put on her Facebook, there was a city procurement fair for you, a construction, or me, restaurant, to go and show our wares and try to get on the city's list, right? Well, she posted it March 31st. The fair ran from the 27th through the 30th.
Oh, shit, yeah.
That is not, she missed the mark on that, you know. But to me, a council member's job, like I said earlier, campaigning never stops.
Well, take it out of the government.
Talking to people.
Private people could do this if they wanted to spend it, but nobody wants to spend their money.
Why should they?
Because I don't know, because it would help humanity.
All right. My father came to this country with barely anything.
Yeah, but somebody helped him.
Yes, but he knew how to say, sit down, I love you. And when he got involved with Baldinos, an accountant actually did a second on his beach home to help my dad because he saw my dad working his ass off. Now, my dad didn't have schooling. He didn't have the comfort. I hate to say comfort, but the assurance that he's not going to starve with SNAP or with other benefits that we offer through DSS. He didn't have any of that safety net. As crappy as it is, and I wouldn't want to live off that any more than you would want to live off that. He came from a place that didn't have that. And in 53 years, his son's here talking about politics.
I was getting ready to say,
bullshit.
That was 53 years ago. Yeah. I'm talking about now.
Okay.
I don't know what the solution is, but I just know that if we attacked it, if we attacked Murchison Road, if we attacked Bonnie Doon, if we attacked that Donut Shawmill Road area, if we attacked it like it was a pandemic and we were given 10 years, if we looked at it that way, we might come up with better ideas. Like there are businesses in that area. There might be a little tire shop. How about making it? How about loaning the man that owns that place and signing him?
That's what I mean.
Some
Council
fucking
has to interface with their people. They got to say, hey, economic development. Let's go talk. Let's see if we can redo your shop.
The only problem with that is when every time you say council members have to, all I hear is conversation about having a conversation. We got to go to Palm Springs and we'll have a conversation. That's going to cost taxpayers this much money. You know, the only thing that what I've come to realize or what I've come to accept, or I don't know what I'm looking for here, or the expression is that governments, whether they're local, they're county, city, or federal, they only are good at one thing and they only concentrate on one thing, and that is their own survival, keeping that government intact. You know?
And that's why I got feedback from wanting to change the city manager.
Okay.
Because he's the guy everybody knows.
Okay.
Well, I'm willing to be a little adventurous and get to know somebody new. Council, I agree that there's some people on council that they're there for their own image. I told people several times, and I'll say it again, I don't need this for my resume.
Right.
The only time I ever ran.
Does it even come with a paycheck?
I think
like 30 grand or something like that?
Oh, no.
Not even 30 grand?
I think it's 17,000 a year.
Wow.
And I think you get a car allowance. I don't know. But this is not going to keep you, in the rich. Now, I will lose me as a business person when I win. I'll probably lose 3 times that in business because
but you throw guys like me a couple contracts, we'll hook you up.
You go around putting holes in people's roofs.
That's it. I'll never have a city contract ever. I'm just joking.
No, but it's For me, it was an opportunity because I know I'm a little smarter than the average bear.
Mm-hmm.
And
who are the dumb ones?
I know.
Name them. Come on. Come on. Trump does it all the time.
No.
Let's name it. So
if
I name their names, you just tell me what comes to mind.
You want me to cough?
No, I just want you. I'm going to say their name, and you tell me what
this.
comes to mind.
My opponent is in over his head.
Mm-hmm.
There's another person on there that's in business that I don't know what business it's in. I've never seen it. Some of these people are Facebook famous.
Yeah.
On Facebook, they're the best entrepreneur, whatever else. Mm-hmm. And then in real life, it's like,
who are the people on Facebook that are like, thank you, councilman. You're a blessing. You've done such a good thing for our community. And I'm
paid promoters.
Is it paid promoters? Because what the fuck have they done?
The one thing I've realized with city council or the mayor or whatever, when they're directly in front of you, it's like, oh, cool, this person's the councilman. I sat down with the council person, It's just like if President Biden walked into the restaurant, I'd still serve him a steak and cheese, and I'd keep him away from the kids. But
make sure his handler was with him.
But I would take a picture with the guy because he's the president of the United States. Why not?
Yeah, but a local.
But all I'm saying is that
a local mayor.
The people that are singing those praises online are probably just excited to be heard by somebody.
Gotcha.
Whether it goes anywhere, it's like my council person listened to me.
Yeah.
And just like in sales, if you're the first one to call somebody back, how does that up your chances of getting the job?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like in council, if you actually just respond to your constituent, they're high on the hog. You may not ever do anything.
I don't understand why, and I wish I don't have the money, and I don't have access to the money, and I don't know enough people with frivolous money. But if you attacked local politics like you attack a poverty area with gentrification, or these people, they go and they spend millions of dollars buying the real estate. They spend millions of dollars revamping and revitalizing the real estate, and then they sell it to each other at stupid high prices to drive the property values up, which makes the people that have been living there, they can't afford the property taxes, but they can make some money by, you see what I'm saying? If you attack local politics like that, why couldn't you get a group together to get like guys in every district, okay? Go ahead and move them there. Go ahead and have the money. Now, I'm not talking about just hiring just any old Tom, Dick, and Harry, just guys that really want to attack building a city, like, so there's no poor, like the mindset would be like, we're not going to have poor people living in this motherfucker.
What you're talking about is a overall view of the city instead of this district setup that we have. There was a referendum on the last election of the Vote Yes initiative, and they were trying to take and redistrict us so that we would have 5 or 6 large districts, and then have 2 at-large people that would be elected like the mayor is throughout the whole city. That way you have people that are not tied to special interest in any one of these neighborhoods and could look at the city as a whole and say, well, we've got poverty here, poverty there. How do we bridge that gap instead of the guy in that district saying my people love me and doesn't do anything?
Right.
Or the guy down here with, let's say, downtown area, that's another district, young lady. She doesn't have to do anything because it's already been revitalized.
Yeah.
So she's like the congressman or the council person doesn't
like
have
Charlie
to do
Wilson.
anything. Yeah, because she owes everybody.
What I'm saying is, okay, so let's say you got Brennan, you got you, you got me. So we got 3 other people. Okay,
right.
We have a bunch of money. Okay, Brennan's going to run in this district. You're going to run in that district. I'm going to run in this district. He's going to run. We're going to media, social media, TikTok, everything. It's going to make us look like whatever we want. And in my case, if I was running the show, it would be like, fuck Democrats, fuck Republicans. They've been fucking you for years. We're going to do this a new type of way. And then we funnel the money, and then we take over the city fucking government.
But you're ignoring that the people that go to these municipal elections, I saw it firsthand, they walk in and they say, who's the Democrat? Who's the Republican? People in our country have been so trained on the two-party system.
Who trained them that way?
Okay, but look, I can't fix any of that.
Media.
And all this stuff with social media, TikTok and all that, running a campaign, it don't mean shit. You have to be present for... again, this
We
is
could
not,
always buy the ministers.
This is not how
You just pay off the ministers.
This is not House of Cards. I had to repeat that so many times in my campaign. I said, you guys are pretending like this stuff is House of Cards. This is not Palace Intrigue.
Yeah, I got
this
you.
is
I got
the
you.
streets, the street lights, and the trash getting picked up on time, guys. This is very rubber meets the road. But I have such an interest in local government because that's who screws with us on a daily basis.
That's who affects you the
You
most.
send your taxes once a year to the feds. Good luck.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you won't get audited. You just,
Everybody
get out of here,
cares about the
then-
president and who was the senator in
Right.
Arizona, and I'm like, do you even know who your fucking
everybody's
local
channeling
representative is?
those national politics and those issues, and not that they're not important, but to my daily life,
Yeah.
I need to know who my
Do
council
you care
person
what's
is.
going on in the Tennessee legislature? Do you? I mean, does
No,
that
I
interest you?
don't.
Why is it all over the news? I don't
No,
give
it
a fuck
interests
either.
me only out of anger that
That's where they're getting you.
it takes.
That's what we were talking about. See,
Well,
you don't care about
it's-
it, but you got nice and angry, so
Well-
you're like, you got something to say about it.
Maybe not angry, more that I understand.
No,
my
you were
apathy.
right. You were right the first time.
It's just like, look, okay,
They
Vice
got you,
President,
Peter.
You go to defend two Democrat people, but they got air in their lungs. They're walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about the kids that got killed?
Yeah.
What about Palestine?
That's just it, though. I see it all the time. My people in my family, friends of mine, they're always, and I think maybe I might
It's
sound
a
like
distraction.
I might sound like a hypocrite if I say that I don't do it. Every once in a while, you see something, you have an opinion about it because it stroked anger or support.
Yes.
So if it's about pro guns and you're a pro gun guy, you're like, yeah, America, share it. But if it's against that, they stroke the anger, and it's always sided.
Yeah, unless you're not 2A enough. What were we talking about, Brennan, earlier?
Yeah, that guy on YouTube who disowned vets now because they're not 2A enough.
Yeah,
Oh.
but he's never served.
Or, the guy who was talking shit on literally was wounded in combat. He was a career, special forces operator.
Right.
He made a statement about how maybe it's time to do something about the guns in our country because of what happened at that school.
Yeah.
Ask him what, though. What's his? I agree. There's something that can be done. I don't know what it is.
You want to take guns of war off the streets?
I don't know. I'm just saying that at the point, I don't think it's the guns that are the problem. And I think we touched on that. And I was kind of touching on
It's
that.
the operator.
How do you get how do you unbreed this fucking violent shit that we got going on here? If you attacked it like we did fucking COVID, and how much money did we spend on COVID? But we won't spend that on poor people.
No. So I think our country is just that much larger that per capita percentage of crazy is just that many more people.
And we don't lock them up
And
anymore.
we don't lock them up anymore. Because
Thanks, Geraldo. Wasn't that Geraldo's fault?
No, I don't
Well, you used to remember when you went to private schools, but
Yeah.
those of us that went to public schools, we remember that there was a short bus,
Okay.
and the crazy kids
Mm-hmm.
they rode that short bus, and they got to school later. Like the crazy kid that I hung out with, he didn't go to the bus stop that I went to. He didn't get off he was already home whenever
Okay.
we got home.
Okay.
So they would put these kids in the crazy class. They'd let them out earlier. They'd get to school later, just in case one of them went crazy. They wouldn't hurt none of the
I don't
normal
think
kids.
that's what I don't
but
think
we used to
perceive
lock
these
up. That's
kids,
what if you look at. I stole that from a comedian. Probably a couple comedians have used that. But if you look at the homeless people, a lot of these motherfuckers are fucking crazy. They're not just, oh man, I lost my job, I lost my third shift, and I lost everything. They're crazy.
They're ill. Okay, they need treatment.
Call it what you want.
So
They need to be locked the fuck up.
Last Sunday,
Not in chains and not getting
all
zapped,
right,
but
look.
in a fucking hospital where they can get treated.
I went out last Sunday, and I've done it before. There's a guy named Carl Pringle, local guy. He's the inventor of the flip-flop sauce. He's got it in all the food lines right now. He's a
What
great
is it?
guy. It's just a barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay.
But
Called flip flops.
flip-flop sauce.
Oh, flip flop because
It's
you
got-
flip
yeah,
flop
it's
it on the
got
meat.
sweet and
Okay,
tangy anyway, but
gotcha.
I call him Uncle Carl. I had him on. Actually, I help run a podcast called The Carolina Cabinet.
Word.
It's a conservative voice on politics, and we can't cuss on there because it actually goes on the radio. So,
Okay.
But we had Uncle Carl on the radio last week. He used to go to Festival Park and just feed homeless people for free. He and his group. We Are One Big Family is the name of the organization. They would go down there. But the thing about, and what I liked about going with Carl to feed the people, it's not just like an assignment from one of these mega churches that it's just a bunch of guilty white people that are like, here's your food.
Yeah.
Just handing it.
Yeah.
When Uncle Carl does it, and when I go with his group, you get to know the people. Like there's homeless folks that you learn to recognize. One of whom was actually given a citation when the city changed their ordinance about homeless camping and all. And I said at one of those feedings, if any of you get arrested, I will be there to bail you out and pay the fine. And the promise, and that came true because they got a citation. And
Who promised that? You did?
I did.
Okay.
Just because I was pissed. Because to me, it was vilifying the homeless people. They don't have a choice. I know.
Yeah, as long as they ain't camped in my street.
Pretty much, it's like, I don't.
Look at you, bleeding heart, liberal ass.
You know, it is. Maybe this is why the GOP doesn't like me. But the thing is, I have compassion for
Did
these
you mean
people.
it, or is that political stunt?
No,
I
mean
think you
this.
did.
I mean,
yeah. I think you meant it. Is what I'm saying. You're a nice guy.
We are a great country. This is the #1 country on the planet. I don't give a shit what some of these liberals say. People are still dying to get into our country. And when people stop dying to get in this country,
That's going to
illegally,
change soon, though.
Well, let
China become the #1 superpower.
We will have a problem. But I believe that we have enough largesse in this country that how much do we spend? Like if you look nationally, how much do we spend on defense as a percentage of GDP versus social programs? So if we spend another
That's what I'm saying.
out of our pocket.
That's what I'm fucking saying. I was gonna,
but it doesn't. Like
feeding
you said,
the homeless is a nice thing.
Yes.
It's a nice thing. It makes you feel
and I
good, and
bring
they
that up
need the
because
food, but it doesn't
when
help
I
them in
go
the long
there,
run.
You get to know them as individuals, and a lot of these people that are anti-homeless and say a lot of bad things about that population, I really would invite them to go to one of these feedings, not the mega church ones. The ones where the people stay and they talk to you.
No, I know what you're talking
and
about.
You start to humanize these people, and you start to say, you know what, I want to fight for them because
I've got a solution.
You know, don't tell me suicide.
No,
Okay.
I've got a solution. And I can't do it because I'm not as affluent in this community
Here we go.
as you. And I know people with money, but they're all over around the world. My career took me all around the world. Some of my best friends are sitting in South Africa right now, or in Germany, or Australia.
In exile? Or
No, just
jails?
they're
Okay,
actual
all right.
citizens. Like I grew up in like an expat community. But
Flight from
let's just say
prostitution.
this: I'm sure that there's probably enough. There's probably enough money in Fayetteville. The top earners. I'm talking about the old money, the people that are millionaires here in Fayetteville. You guys could figure out a tax amongst yourselves.
Right.
Somebody's got 5 or 6 acres of city land they're sitting on, just waiting for that shit to be worth millions of dollars that they bought for $30,000, and put container homes on there and provide electricity and pay and do that. It would cost maybe the citizens in Fayetteville could donate $5 a month, but you could do more and they could do more. So instead of feeding them and getting to know him and be like, hey, he's a nice guy, and then go back to your house and he's got to sleep in a tent, because guy like me that can't afford to do any of that shit, I still don't want that motherfucker sleeping in a tent where I got to go get gas, because every time I go to get gas, I got somebody asking me for fucking money.
Right. Well, you're never gonna stop the panhandling and all, because that's ultimately is a freedom of speech issue.
So once you plant that seed, let's say you could put 400 fucking container homes on 5 acres. I know because I've put 400 on less in military barracks or out of containers in Iraq. Okay. Now you bring in all these people that have these nonprofits for like needle exchange and fucking counseling and crazy people counseling.
You have to separate the homeless into the categories of, are they temporarily living in their car? Are they veterans that need mental help, or are they just regular people that need mental help?
Veteran, I don't care. If you need mental health, you need mental health.
Are they the ones? Well, I say veterans because there is a VA and there is a mechanism to help them.
But
differently from the regular.
The VA is not the route to go there, buddy.
But there's at least a layer there. There's at least something they can tie to. But then you do have a segment of that population that's simply content.
But
they're not going to go.
If you move,
they're not going to go.
If you walked up to his tent and said, "Hey, look, we got Pappas Town over here. There's 400 units. We're going to give it to you. You're going to have access to running water. There's going to be code enforcement. Like you can't just be shitting out in the street. You got a toilet. You're going to have counselors going around, and you could monitor, and you could probably help some of these people.
Well, you've got
the contingent you can't help. Then you got to send them off.
It's so multi. First of all, it's not a city issue. It's a county issue.
I think it's a people issue.
Well, we have.
You live in a nice neighborhood. You make a lot of money off this town. And I'm speaking to you, but not to you.
Yeah, thanks.
You make money in this town off of this town, and a lot of other people do
Absolutely.
too. So why can't y'all get together and figure out how to get the motherfuckers off the street?
To me, my way was to help by getting on council, but
we all know how government going to the government's about as good as going to the VA.
Well, and I will
so why not
say-
start Pappas Town?
I will say,
Come on, man, commit to it.
After
Come
this guy made the comments at the last meeting, I got an email from some of the community watch people saying, Mr. Pappas, are you please going to run? And I wanted to just email back and be like, hey, he's the guy you wanted.
Right.
He's the guy you got. But I can help through what I know to get in and manipulate the city to help to make sure nobody's slipping through the cracks that way. Our budget's $250 million here in Fayetteville. So it's a $250 million budget. We certainly have money, especially with the federal government, ARPA money and all. There's funding available. We don't have to start taxing. We just need to make sure the resources go to the right place. And, you know, there's one position on council that hasn't been filled in like 3 years, and that is a liaison. One of the council people has to be nominated to be a liaison to the county commission. We're not talking.
How many homeless people are on the streets in Fayetteville right now?
They estimated, damn, this is on the show. I want to say it was like 2,000 people.
2,000 people.
Yeah.
Highland Country Club members
Good luck.
could solve that problem
If
they wanted to.
It's you want that because you want to stick it to the man.
No. If I was, no, I'm just saying, if I was like an Elon Musk guy, if I
Yeah.
had millions of dollars, I do believe I could go to other people and say, look, this is going to cost you, over the course of 10 years, it's going to cost you $1 million fucking dollars. There's no profit. There's no return in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe you could figure out a way to make Pappastown. I'm going to keep saying Pappastown. You can figure out a way
It's my own
to make it
Levittown here, yeah.
a write-off tax wise, because it's a 501(c)(3) and all that shit. But we got to do this because this is our community, and these people, okay, they didn't make the good decisions and they didn't pull themselves
Right.
up by the same bootstraps we use, but we can fix this, motherfuckers, and we can have a nice community. And then other people want to move
not
here.
Equipped to answer those questions. See, when you even discuss mental health, is it substance abuse or is it serious?
Don't care.
mental
It's
health?
not my problem.
I get it.
But you
that's
call in
been
people
the
for that.
problem with getting something going is that what you have is the people that, if you watch city council meetings, and it's like the same 4 people that always go up there and they speak to city council every week, and it's the same topic: homeless, women issues, homeless. But they are all well-intentioned people, but they have no path forward.
I just gave you a path forward.
I'm talking about
Public
people.
housing, but not public
Okay,
housing.
You want to come speak city
It's
council
public
Monday?
housing.
You
No,
can go
because I don't
behind
want
me.
to talk to the government. The
Okay.
government's useless. I think that the fucking affluent people of Fayetteville could solve this fucking problem, and they may spend some money. They're not going to have a return on investment, and that's
But
the
you
problem
don't-
with our society.
You
That's
don't
all
want to
they
have
care
meetings
about.
to have more meetings.
I don't
You
wanna
to
have
a
meetings to
meeting
have more
the
meetings.
action done, and that's it.
And what happens in government, if you take that $250 million and you say, okay, allocate that towards Pappastown, okay? The people, you're going to have people that are in charge of that money. Who's going to build the concrete? Who's going to lay the concrete?
Well, that's
Who's
city
gonna,
management.
And they're going to be skimming from that money because they're going to hire the. No, this is something. If I say rich people, if Highland Country Club got together to fix that, they're going to fucking. No one's going to steal because they're going to be stealing from each other. They're
Why
not going
would
to.
that stop them?
Yeah, you're right. That's
Well,
how
I
they
mean,
got there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Did they deny your membership? Is
No,
that why we're upset with Highland
I would
Country
never.
Club? Okay.
I'm not a
not a
country club
member
guy.
either. Yeah.
The only reason why I say I don't want anybody that if they hear this and they go there to get offended, it's the only country club that I know of
It's
in the
only one
area.
here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no, I don't.
You just mean country club people.
Rich
okay.
people. And if
Yeah,
I was
but-
one of those people, I would be in this conversation. I would be in the middle of the room saying, "Come on, Peter, you can do $100,000 a year.
Okay, but why
you
should
can
I be
afford
compelled? We made it. Why should I want to spend it
To help
I can
these people.
support people that know the subjects and support them, but I don't want to put my money directly just in some pot.
Okay,
I mean,
at
I'm
least
not
you're
gonna
honest
put it in
about it. It's $100,000. My $100,000, and everybody else in here has $100,000 makes umpteen $1 million. You donate the fucking land. Now there are ways you can make that tax write-offs and shit, but we just want to house these people so they're not at every fucking stoplight asking
but they're
for fucking
not
money.
going to go, and you can't force them to go.
I don't know.
So, I had an idea of some of these dark shell spaces, anchor spaces in some shopping centers that are like 40, 50,000 square feet. Surely we could get authorization from DSS and other people, the powers that be, to get the rent donated from the
To
property
do
owner.
what with?
Make a shelter. You got the
That's
building
government. That's
to-
shelter. That's more
but
the
that's-
same. You get robbed in shelters. You get raped in shelters. You get nothing in a shelter.
You're not going to.
I'm trying something new here, Peter. Come on, get on board. Let's take a break.
You're not.
We'll talk about
Take a
Pappastown
break.
later.
Okay.
I got a piece. Let's talk about your was the Carolina cabinet.
Okay, so I am one of four hosts on a local radio program called the Carolina Cabinet.
Who are the other three?
So the founder of the Carolina Cabinet is former Mayor Nat Robertson. We have Pastor Josh, and then we have Antoine Minor, Bishop Antoine Minor, and then myself.
So it's not just all white guys.
No.
Okay.
No, it is not. And that's one thing about the GOP, that we are a very diverse party now. So the Carolina Cabinet was founded to program against Goldie.
Yeah.
Okay, this is pre-pandemic.
Fucking Goldie,
yeah,
man.
fucking Goldie. So Goldie,
Goddamn New Yorker.
Goldie is a very outspoken, liberally minded guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he owns the Fayetteville airwaves in that regard. The Carolina Cabinet founding was to program against him 5 mornings a week. But then the pandemic hit and some other licensing issues hit with the radio, so we're not there yet. So Nat Robertson has been hired as the president of the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taken a little bit of step back, and he asked me with the other cabinet members to kind of take over, and we're trying to restructure it and be not necessarily a Republican, but a very conservative voice for the mainstream.
I think conservative would be a better way to go than Republican.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, Republican,
Not that it's my
unfortunately,
business.
when you say I'm a Republican, you get looked at that you have a MAGA hat and you hate minorities, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, in my case, I'm a son of an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I'm a Republican because not everybody can be on welfare, so somebody's got to pay it. But at any rate, you know, I don't agree with the Democrat platform, and I'm just going to be a conservative. So we try to have that conservative voice on the radio. I have Christina Aragues is going to be another host that's coming on with us soon. She's a libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
I believe she's active duty National Guard, and she has a lot of unique views.
Okay.
So it's smart people. Sometimes it's 4 boys cutting up, and sometimes we're having more guests come on. I had Uncle Carl come on the program last week to talk about his feeding the homeless and all.
Right.
In the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to have Abdul Ali. He's running for the vice chairmanship of the GOP party in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some racially charged comments going around about him.
What do you mean?
Well, how dare he run in the Republican Party with a Muslim name? Oh, golly gee willikers. I mean,
Is that coming from officials, or is that just coming from constituents?
It's coming from, unfortunately, officials in the party.
No way.
And
That sounds like some Democrat shit.
it really does. The whole thing is disgusting. I mean,
Wow.
So recently I was nominated to be part of the GOP board for Cumberland County.
Mm-hmm.
Our slate lost, but it was the only slate that had more than just white people on it.
Right.
There are conservative African Americans, conservative Asians. There
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah,
conservatives
yeah.
in this town, and
I think that's a big misconception. Is that what kills me? And I'm not African American or black. I should say black. I'm not black, but I know I grew up here. Okay, a lot of my childhood friends growing up, and the people that were in my house and I was in their house, were African American. I just said it again because you're making me be all political correct.
Blacks and minorities make up 70% of Fayetteville, right?
Right. 70%. It's that
around.
much.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it'd be about 50.
The black population is like 55, 60, and then the other 10%
But
is the.
What pisses me off about Democrats, and I think that a lot of the white Democrats, the white liberals, they're unintentional white supremacists. They don't realize it. Like, I think they think they have good intentions, but they're white supremacists. And I believe like a lot of the black Democrat politicians are kind of like sellouts. They're kind of like agents because they're perpetuating it. Mm-hmm. Okay, kind of like guys like Al Sharpton. That if racism was never talked about again, he wouldn't have a job.
Right. Well, and
that's his hustle.
So one thing that I don't approve of with the GOP is that they say, well, they treat Democrats like they're unintelligent, uninformed, and that's contrary to what I believe, that they are our neighbors. Locally now. Mm-hmm. Nationally, they're off the damn reservation.
Locally, let's keep it local,
but locally, I don't believe that just because my neighbor registers Democrat means he's too stupid to make the right decision.
Right, yeah. No, I got you.
And they get discounted for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what you're talking about minorities being in the, well, I guess we can't even call it minority locally.
They're majority.
They're majority.
We
here.
are technically a majority minority city.
Okay.
Is the term
Nice.
that's thrown
Okay.
around. So,
Well, there you go.
so we are, and that's one thing too about racial issues, whatever. We are integration
Right.
mission accomplished.
But everybody thinks that black folks are just monolithic. They're all Democrats.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
like,
know,
oh, they're
Joe
all gonna vote that
Joe
way.
Biden said if you don't know whether to vote for, then you ain't black.
You ain't
like,
black, yeah.
who the fuck are you to fucking say that?
Well,
I know
the
black dudes that
audacity
are
to get away.
pro-Trump.
Imagine Trump said that.
Oh yeah.
Holy
I
crap!
know.
They would have dragged him out of the
Yeah, but then again, it doesn't. Here's the
That's
thing,
that
though.
machine again.
That's Trump, though. Trump is Trump because he says shit like that. I think Donald Trump was probably, when he heard that, was like, why didn't I fucking say that? Why didn't I use that one? That was a good one.
Yeah.
Because it would have, like him just getting arrested, that shot him up. I don't even think that they're running yet. They're just, people are announcing who's going to run for president.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Trump's already at like 43%.
Yep.
And what DeSantis is like, I know that a lot of the old school, wanting that old school decorum, and some Republicans that just don't like Donald Trump. You know, they're Mitch McConnell Republicans.
Well,
they want to push from the background. They don't want to come out and say DeSantis, but they're like, you know that DeSantis, he's doing really good.
Well, it's
and
an
it ain't
unpopular opinion in the local party, especially if you're not a Trump person.
Right.
They swallow everything he says, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want him to date your daughter? Like, we've had him already, so
Yeah.
let's try somebody new.
But, okay,
But you are an antichrist if you say that in this local party.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Do we want somebody else? Is that person going to be like him? Then yes. I want somebody up there that's like just short of saying, shut the fuck up.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Shut the
Well,
fuck
and
up.
I think
you over there talking all this like when Trump went after Jeb Bush during the debate about the war. Did you see the look on Jeb's face? He couldn't he was like, no, this is not how we play this game.
Yeah.
Like the Trumps.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The
now.
Trump
Yeah.
family were looked at. Let me just give you a little bit of. A lot of people don't know this about the Trump family. Okay, the Trump family were rich people in New York
to begin with. Yeah.
but they were looked at like white trash won the lottery. If you ever saw Fred Trump, you know he's a very unkept guy. He wears like velvet suits, whereas 1% America is very stiff. Nice business suits,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like old money. So the Trumps were, even though they made money, they were never let into the club. They
Wasn't
were a
that called
joke.
Nouveau riche.
Yeah,
Turn of the century. Like they just made their money quickly.
They just made their money.
Yeah.
He made his money in the old man Trump, the one before Frederick Trump, I think was the guy. He made his money in brothels and like hotels along the railroad.
Sounds like very American. way to
Right.
do it.
I mean, so did the
good for
Kennedys
him.
made their
Yeah.
money, but
Bootlegging
Joseph
and
Kennedy,
whoring, yeah.
Joseph Kennedy went towards Blue Blood America. You know, nice, clean cut,
Yeah,
stay
all
out of the
while doing
limelight.
the bootlegging.
So
in
when
the background.
Trump became a man and went into business, his idea was to kind of shove it in their face. They'll have to accept me, okay? And when he won that tax abatement and made him a billionaire overnight. A lot of people don't. I'm not going to go and understand that, but a lot of people don't even know what a tax abatement
Well,
is.
people say, he didn't pay his taxes, whatever, and he said, "Look, because I'm smart.
I'm
I use
smart.
the same- I
we
use
use the same
rules
accountant
that Hillary's people use,
We-
and don't want her
Right.
to change the rules
Right.
because it screw her friends
So
over."
Trump's making all this money,
Yep.
and he's not being accepted by the wealthy ruling class.
Well, because
so who do he hang out with?
He doesn't accept their. He doesn't want to kiss their ring.
He don't want to kiss their ring.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. They won't let him. Is it like you just said? Did the Highland Country Club deny your membership? They denied that. Trump is an example of somebody who made money
Yeah.
and makes as much money, if not more than you, but you still won't let me in the country club. So fuck you. He was running around with Don King. He was running around with fucking Mike Tyson.
He was a popular Democrat.
He's a popular
right?
fucking guy.
And then he swapped, and he was all of
Right.
a sudden an enemy.
So Jeb Bush sitting on stage with him is like, how the fuck did he even get here?
Right.
And now he's saying the quiet part out loud. I don't know what to say because it's against the rules.
Yeah, right.
Trump shook that up on both
Well,
sides.
like I said earlier, the swamp.
Yeah.
It is one thing about the swamp that pisses me off. Why do federal employees get to have a labor union?
I don't know.
I mean, let's just think about that.
I don't
for a
know.
minute.
Who's
the nature of a labor union is for the workers' benefit, to get them better benefits, to get them better pay
from
the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And we allow this?
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's crazy.
anyway, but yeah, Trump definitely says the things that are off script and not expected of a presidential. I don't like the thing that he's not a politician, because he is very much a politician. But like me, he has no diplomacy.
Right.
That's the difference.
But I think that's
if
what
I
we
run for office and I win the thing, I'm a politician through and through.
Right.
I'm just not diplomatic, and I'll definitely get censured. I promise you.
Right.
I'm going to say the wrong damn thing on city council at a certain point, and I'll get the gavel. I already got the gavel on human relations as it is, so, and I've been on there for 3 years now, Human Relations Commission, and that's where we do deal with a lot of homeless issues, and we at least discuss it.
Right.
But
you have a conversation.
we have the conversations, and it's good to participate on these boards and commissions, just so you get an insight of what the government does and mostly doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I was asked to be on the Chamber of Commerce's Government Affairs Council, and that'll start in May. So
You gonna do it?
yeah, I mean, what does that mean? So Government Affairs Council, you basically make it your job to go to the commission meetings and council meetings and start to take note of which council person is pro-business, anti-business.
Right.
And you start taking notes, and you start sharing that with the membership. So it puts me in a good position to just do homework I've already done, but more like in an official capacity.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. See, I listened to all that, and I've
You just
people. No. People will say, you got all these opinions. You got this and that. You even said, did you want to go speak at the council meeting? Do you want to go to? No.
I'd love you to.
No.
You'd be
I don't
great
want
at
to.
it.
We got waves to catch.
Yeah. See.
I got stories on
And
TV
you're
I
gonna
need to keep up with.
See, you're gonna leave it to me. Little
Yeah,
old
I
me.
just
gotta
want to be the
by
guy in the
myself.
back yelling, "Free bird!"
Yeah,
just play Free Bird, and then
well,
I'm going.
I so considering running in the fall,
Right.
I'm still on the fence about it, because I see my peers. Dino Hondros, I grew up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Both Greek boys, and I see him going to events. I see him posting pictures and videos, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, ugh.
It's tiring.
Yeah,
It seems like a
is.
lot.
It is. It is a lot.
Yeah.
But I always said, if you want something done, you give it to the busy guy.
Yeah.
Don't give it to the asshole that's retired.
Yeah.
Because he's got all the time in the world. He don't need to do shit.
Right.
Me, I have to organize my time.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a 40-hour-a-week assistant.
I would
just
do
to keep
it.
me straight.
Right. I would do it if all I had to do was walk out the door and all my events were planned. Like, where are we going? All right, you got to go here. You got to go see the ministers. Then you got to go see the fucking this, and you got to go over here, and you got to go meet the Greeks. You got to make the Greeks happy. And I'm like, okay, I'll go do that.
Last week when they asked me to be on government affairs, the first thing I said was, how often does it meet?
Yeah.
What's the commitment? And just let me schedule it. If I can schedule it, it'll get done. I'm good at pivoting to last
How much
minute.
free time do you get in a day? What's your free time schedule look like? You're done with work. You're in your pajamas. I can imagine. I picture Peter wearing like actual pajamas,
Smoker jacket.
like actual matching top and bottom pajamas.
It's not funny. I actually have a couple pairs of those. Yeah, so, but I'm still young yet, so I have the sleep shorts, like the Nautica sleep. Anyway, free time for me is binge watching. It's a lot of reset. Here I am on one hand, let's be a politician, let's be on podcast, and on the other hand, I get home. Fuck them people. I don't want to be around anybody. I need to de-people. I need to de-stress. I need to just. It's like every hour of public needs an hour and a half of recovery for me. But that's my process.
You watch TV?
I just binge something. Usually.
What's your show right now? This Is Us.
This Is
Us guy.
Rewatching Narcos.
That's a good
right
show.
Now. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm rewatching The Wire right now. Have you ever watched The Wire?
I've not watched The Wire.
Oh my God, you are another one. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Well, I was a Sopranos guy, and I just fell off with HBO after that.
Go home tonight and start. You have HBO, right?
No.
Oh, I don't know how you're gonna watch it.
I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Go and start season 1, episode 1, The Wire.
Okay.
I'm telling you, that is the greatest fucking show ever.
So
It covers almost a lot of the things that we talk about on here. It exposes. It's set in Baltimore.
Okay.
It shows the police department from every level, from the street level all the way up to the politics of it. It shows the city prosecutor. It shows the drug trade. You got to watch this show.
Okay.
It's great.
Well, so I just finished Shameless, 11 seasons of that.
God damn,
Have you ever seen
I fell off at like season 4. I was like, okay,
it? Yeah,
you're losing me now.
Well, at a certain point, it's like, how much is he really gonna? Yeah, he's gonna. Do
Is he?
that. Oh,
Can
shit.
you?
Really?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, remember
eventually.
he made the sex to the one lady with a heart condition and he killed her. I mean,
I don't think I saw that one.
it was a scene. It's like if she had sex, she would die. But he decided to do it anyway, so he could get her life insurance.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
you're watching, like, no, he's not. Oh,
Yeah.
God, But anyway, so yeah, that, and I'll watch The Wire. But
You need to watch The Wire.
a lot of times, the stuff I watch is background noise.
Yeah.
You may not be surprised to know that I watched the Netflix series How to Be a Tyrant a few times over.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
6-part series. Peter Dinklage.
No, I know.
narrates
I
it,
did.
and,
I did
you know.
see. I think I might. I do a lot of background noise too.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get in bed by like 7:30, 8 o'clock because I don't use my living room. I'm not a sit on the couch guy. I'll sit up in my bed. That's where my TV's at, which is not good because when you do go to sleep
I was
4
gonna
hours
say,
later.
TV in your bedroom. There's something else not going on, buddy. What's up?
Oh man,
Yeah,
I'm
you
getting
better,
plenty of that, buddy.
I'm
I'm getting plenty of that.
You're supposed to put on the show.
Yeah,
not
I
watch
tell
it.
you what, I'm getting where I'm at right now in my life with that subject. It's almost too much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm 45. I can't keep up. You know, I don't.
Well, I have a friend that's our age that he'll brag to me about how productive he's been in that regard.
Yeah.
And I'll say, why?
Yeah.
He's like, he'll tell me
Once you get to
a
a
number of times per night. I'm like,
No.
why?
You ever
Like,
hear?
why are you setting the bar that high?
He's probably
Because
lying.
Don't you just want to sleep?
He's probably
like,
lying.
I don't, like.
You know,
I mean, I
met-
want to know what she wants to do for a Klondike bar. But
I've
after
talked
that,
to the
I'm,
guys. They're like, "Oh yeah, 2-3 times a day, every day." I'm like, "You're fucking lying."
sounds exhausting.
If you ever hear me say that, you know I'm lying.
Give me a Coke and a smile.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
be over
it.
there. That's, so,
Hell yeah. But no, I do a lot of the background noise because I'm always on my fucking phone.
yeah.
But I don't. That's to me. I don't know.
I
Ever
think
since
it's a psycho problem. I think if we just use the same, it's something on TikTok, Facebook, I've seen someplace that if you watch the same thing over and over, the background noise, it's because it's familiar and you don't have the capacity for anything new, so you just keep doing it.
maybe.
Just to
Maybe.
that's how you decompress. Is well, that's familiar. I can fall asleep to this. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna miss anything.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So
That's
we're
another
all-
thing I
yeah.
find myself doing. Like I'm falling asleep. I'm watching TV. I'm watching something I've already seen,
Yeah.
but I'm fighting to stay awake, even though I want to
You know
go to
what's
sleep.
gonna happen.
I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
sleep. Why am I? I don't understand what's going on. Like my brain's always
You're
moving.
in your bedroom, not your recliner.
I'm always in
Okay.
my bedroom.
You're not like
Yeah.
hands down the pant,
No,
Al Bundy type. Okay.
my living room, So I've spent most of my adult life married.
Right.
Okay, so whenever I got divorced the last time, me and my son moved into an apartment. It was just me and him. You know, he's a kid, so he's always in his room on his.
Give him a video game.
He's got like 2 flat screen TVs that all hook up to his. He's got surrounded by TV screens. He's got everything he wants in his little room. He don't ever want to come out. And I sit in my bedroom and sit on the bed, and then I just what I do. So the living room got decorated and gets cleaned like once a week, just dusted. We never have to clean it up because no one's ever in there. And then I brought a dog into the mix, and I don't know. She don't like Bren, man. I'm thinking I might have to. I can't keep her if she does that. I'm going to try to get that out of her, but I can't have a dog.
I've only met him a couple times. It seems okay.
Yeah,
Maybe the dog's
I
got
don't
a
know.
problem,
It's the ginger mustache.
It's got to be something because she bit him. Like
Brilliant.
she didn't latch on.
She knew me when she was a puppy, and she was fine. She was my best friend. Like the last time I came here, she was, and it wasn't just a dog barking. Like she was getting. Like,
Yeah.
I want to kill this dude.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was one. I had her on a leash at the time, and he walked in, and he was like, "Hey, Lulu," you know, but he was kind of like, you know, when you're just kind of like inches, so the dog senses that. Whereas Chris reached right down, even though she was growling at him and petted her, and she was like, "Oh, okay,
Okay,
he's cool.
We're cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So what's your where do you fall on? You smoke marijuana? Do you
not.
you use psilocybin? Anything? Any
from
drugs?
day 0 to 45 years old, I've still never.
You've never
experimented with the devil's lettuce. No.
Okay. Well, the devil's lettuce.
I have. Let's see. There is a CBD candy store on Cliffdale Road.
Yeah.
Which I know it's all not marijuana.
Yeah, but Delta 8
I did.
can get you fucked up.
They had. Listen, I'm a fat kid. They had Rice Krispie treats and Skittles. The Rice Krispie treat, I felt nice and relaxed, and the Skittles just had dry mouth.
Oh, so you were high. That's what high
I
is,
guess.
right? Yeah.
It wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. So, but that's as far as I've gone. In the
I
arena.
don't smoke marijuana. I don't use cannabis. I don't want to say smoke marijuana. I don't use cannabis either. I did when I was a kid. I would like to get back into doing it.
I would like to see it decriminalized.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know, when I was younger, you watch Cops or all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, get that guy, man. Yeah, screw that criminal. Now you watch it, or I watch it through the lens of, you're really wasting much time.
That much of your life.
Holy shit!
And our money. Like when I see it mainly in South Carolina, because I used to live in Myrtle Beach, so I'm still on the Facebook page with it, and they'll be showing, cops arrested. They found 2 pounds of marijuana, and I always post like so. Like, you're bragging. This is legal everywhere else,
Well, look,
and you're fucking backwood motherfuckers are bragging that you caught a pot
taxpayer
dealer.
money and stuff like that. The police are an instrument of the laws that are on the books. Okay, they're
Right.
doing what they're doing their jobs.
But they
as
don't have
we've
to.
Given them. They have to right now unless we change the rules for them. But
Yeah, but they can.
have
They
you
can
seen
choose.
a violent pothead?
I drive around Fayetteville, and
I
the one thing I'm tired of in Fayetteville, and I'm a pro weed guy.
Mhm.
I'm tired of smelling it everywhere I fucking go
Yes.
because it smells this new shit. Every time I get behind a car and I can smell it, it gets in my system of the AC system.
I'm with you on that.
And I'm like,
yeah.
it fucking stinks. But you tell him there's a cop next to me and I smell it. So he's choosing to not waste his life and the other
Which
person's
is
time.
to me a good
And
use
just-
of
yeah,
better
exactly.
use of his time not to.
Right.
I mean, it's
So
not-
who's the person that still wants to kick down a door and take a pot dealer out? Where's that politician, that police commissioner,
It's-
and what the fuck are they still doing with a job? I guess would be
you have a lot of people that want to be Elliot Nesses.
Yeah.
Like Elliot Ness went after Capone because of the bootlegging, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, let's do some good.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, but he
Like,
got him. He ended up getting him on tax evasion,
Yeah,
though.
well, that you charge a murderer with tax evasion. That's but I don't know. I personally don't think it's that big of a deal. The problem I have is opioid addiction.
Yeah.
Not personally, but in Fayetteville, I think the opioid addiction pervades with employees and the labor pool, that you got somebody that always has allergies.
Yeah.
But
Opioid
opioids
use
definitely
is not.
lead-
It is addiction because your
Yes.
body needs it.
right.
You cannot, you were not going to get addicted to marijuana. You may want to smoke it all the time because
Right.
it's dope, you know what I mean?
Right.
But your body doesn't need it. The same thing with cocaine. Now, cocaine is something that I have a lot of experience with back in my younger days
Attaboy.
when I was making good money. Because
When your heart will not explode.
I
at this
went,
tender
yeah,
age.
exactly. I
right.
went to a
See, I've never
rehab
done that
place.
either because I know the one time I try, I'm going to be
It's
on the
terrible.
front page. He died.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's a terrible thing, man. I think about it now, and even when I smell money.
I'll just be honest here. It's something I dabbled in not too long ago, but my buddy and I were both we're both, older guys. We're like, this is something that's awesome when you're 20 years old in a room full of strippers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a drug for fucking
Sitting around at home
'cause
hiding from
what
your
are you gonna
kids.
do? You increase your heart rate and you
Big
get
time.
paranoid over paying the fucking bills. So,
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Some people.
I was scared the whole time. I just wanted to do it because I'm the kind of person that's like, I want to experience this and be able to say that I experienced it in my life.
Yeah.
I was afraid that I was going to be that guy that first time dead.
I would recommend to anybody, don't ever
Right,
experience
right.
cocaine.
Well, but we
It's
also
not
should
worth
still
it.
criminalize. See, marijuana,
I think
it's so pervasive. Just let it go.
Yeah, it grows out of the
Enough.
ground. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm in the camp. I'm torn. I believe that drugs, everything should be accessible and legal to everybody because I'm an adult.
Right.
I'll choose what goes into my body. Now, that's the way I would like to believe. There is a part of me that's like, well, except for when it comes to heroin and cocaine, these pharmaceutical
Well,
type.
it's like we've had to adopt an all or nothing attitude.
Yeah, and I just think anything that grows, anything I can grow in my backyard, you should not be able to tell me I can't have. Now,
Right.
you can grow poppy in your backyard. Okay, there's probably a recreational use for opium that is not going to.
I mean, weren't you
fuck
over
you
in these
up.
countries? Didn't you figure that one out?
Well, I never fucked with it. I've never fucked with heroin. I've never done anything except for one time when I was a kid, I did like LSD, which is a chemical. I would never fuck with crank or crystal meth or anything that was like, at least
Look, I
cocaine
think if it
comes
has
from
to-
the
if it-
ground.
If it has to have lab in the process to get to you, then maybe let's not put that in.
But coca leaves, a lot of people use that in a tea, so it's like a caffeine. So
that's cool, but then you cut it and bag it,
yeah,
and dry it.
Here's the thing: if it was legal,
that's dangerous.
If it was legal, I don't think that you would have a fentanyl problem. If it was legal, I don't think you would. But then again, people are.
Riddle me this: the fentanyl. I know it's killing people, but was fentanyl by itself a drug, and then they just started lacing it?
Fentanyl is a synthetic heroin.
Okay. It was developed mainly during the global war on terror because it's such a potent painkiller. They were using on the battlefield for traumatically wounded guys.
How did it turn deadly? Just because they were getting too much?
Because it's so strong.
Okay.
And it's cheap. You know what I'm saying?
So it's not like they've changed fentanyl. It's just that what's being laced into stuff is...
It's so potent.
It's so strong.
When they made it initially, it was synthetic. But you have to separate it because in its pure form, it's so concentrated. That's what's fatal about it.
Okay.
And it's being, that's a whole other issue. But China is a big player in that, and the cartel is a big player in that. And now it is in everything. I mean, this might sound stupid, but I've heard there's been fentanyl-laced weed out there.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
I don't get why. I know some people that are addicted to opioids. I don't understand it. I look at them and I know them so well, and I'm like, what is it? Your whole fucking life, you look like shit. Your teeth fell out of your fucking face. You look old. I'm older than you, but you look
10 years
younger.
Yeah.
You look disgusting. You're out of shape. You're you're a healthy weight.
I'm a healthy guy.
Look, surprisingly, you don't have wrinkles on your face. Yeah. Like I don't.
Because I didn't get married when I was 20.
There you go. That's probably why. But I mean, when their skin is like falling down.
Yeah.
And then everybody hates them for it. Your
you
kids
look at
end
them
up
like, what the hell's your problem?
What is it?
I rationalize it away like, well, it's like an abused woman in a relationship. She can't see a way out. What do you want them to do?
Well, yeah.
Their whole world is circled around that crackhead hustle of where's the next pill coming from.
You know what they tell me,
They don't have
though?
capacity for getting out.
That the high on opium is just that fucking good.
Okay.
It's the withdrawals. I've known my uncle.
Yeah. And then when they withdraw, they get sick, they throw up, they shit on themselves. It sucks.
A lot of people can't get past that period because it's not just like a couple days, it's weeks. And it's being as close to death as you can be.
You have to really want to stop or be forced to stop.
Right. You have to medically.
Yeah.
That's what
Well, that's just it, though.
Turkey. It's
No,
not a
yeah,
cigarette.
but you can get yourself off. Okay, what happens in this country, and I don't agree with it, because a guy to me that has an opioid addiction, he's taking pills or he's snorting heroin or whatever, and then he's clean, but he's still taking Suboxone, you're not clean.
Right.
You're not clean.
So
you're
that's
still
the
a
system
junkie.
we've devised as we just made it a legal junkie.
We just made you a legal drug user, and now the government, or the pharmaceutical company's making money. Of course, then if the pharmaceutical company's making money, the government's making money.
So why aren't the pharmaceuticals incentivized to send more fentanyl this way?
True that.
Get them off the fentanyl. And,
well, look, they want you on the fentanyl. They just don't want you on. See, the thing about the cartel.
I don't know why I believe in more national conspiracy than I do local. I don't.
It's not even a conspiracy anymore, though. Like, look,
I left my tinfoil in the car. Should I go get it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Pablo Escobar.
We need to start having tinfoil hats on the shelves.
Yes.
Yeah. Manuel Noriega was taken out. He was a part of the Pablo Escobar. They were making all this money, and it's easy. I don't know. My contention would be we took out the fucking drug trade so we could control it. We took out our competition.
We wanted our money. We didn't give a shit about the drugs
and
money. The addiction, but we didn't like our money going to those South Americans.
Exactly.
So we need to get our stuff
money.
Back. Yeah.
These are our citizens, and the plan from there was we can get them hooked on drugs. We get them hooked on our drugs. You know what I'm saying? And it's proven now. It's not even a conspiracy theory that the OxyContin patent holders, they knew it was addictive, even though they paid for science to say it wasn't. And let's say they made $800 billion. They paid like a $4 billion fine. So that's a good business model. Let's pump this shit. Let's make $100 billion. We'll only have to pay back $3 billion. So we walk away $97 billion. That's a lot of fucking money.
So, my only exposure to that is I have a college friend of mine that was one of the lead counsels, state versus one of the pharmaceutical companies in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It was something to do with it was the Baby Jane case, I think it was, where the baby was born addicted and then died, and so that was their cause to take it to court, and they won a huge settlement, like $500 million.
Wow, yeah.
And it pushed that company out of business, which it needed to
It
be
needed
because
to.
they were able to prove that these people knowingly were making this shit, and it was being dispensed, not necessarily illegally because it all went through the prescriptions, but too liberally, I guess. Is what it was.
Yeah.
So, definitely there is incentive by people that are distanced from the street and the end user that are just making money off of this stuff.
Well, not
Because
just
it's
that.
not going to affect them.
I worked for a doctor for a very short period of time. I won't say where, but here locally.
Yeah.
He's just a drug dealer.
Yeah.
That's all he was a drug dealer.
I thought
You had pain, you could go to this doctor and get your prescription. These were guys, they weren't checking to see if you got pills anywhere else. They didn't care.
there's no way
They
to
were
do
just
it.
pushing
Yeah.
Oxy. And this guy was a fucking millionaire.
I saw a change in my employees in the Hope Mills store 15 years ago. I thought it was a good thing that they had essentially a methadone clinic open up out there.
Yeah.
But it turned out I had a couple of employees that they always needed to go. They
Yeah.
always need, and I didn't understand it until I found out, oh yeah, they're on Suboxone or
Yeah.
whatever, and they need their fix.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I know
and
guys.
I'm like, I thought you were off I got to see the doctor. I got to see.
Yeah. Well, they go.
Okay,
What they
alright,
do is
no,
they go
dude,
get
you know.
get their methadone. They go get their high from there, and then they fucking double up on it, and they shoot their heroin or they snort their heroin with it.
Yep.
But the Suboxone, is the way I first came to know about that was a buddy of mine who was on parole getting piss tested. He was trying to get up with a person that I knew, and I was like, I don't associate with fucking drug
I was
addicts.
gonna say, why do all these illegal people come around you?
Man, I'm in the
Magnet
mix,
for
baby. I'm in the
criminals?
mix. I'm down with my people.
For El Criminalos?
No, I
come
mean,
around you?
one of my childhood friends was, I don't know to the scale in Fayetteville how big he was with the cocaine trade, but he was big. He made a lot of money. He was connected. I've been around. I went to Westover, baby.
That plus you had.
I didn't go to Fayetteville Academy. I grew up with kids that were 14 years old and driving Lexuses to school.
The academy was just the end users. They weren't They weren't.
You guys
they
were the
weren't
clients.
dealers. No, those guys.
Yeah.
not
Did
me
you ever
guys.
hang out?
Yeah.
Did you ever hang? I guess I can't say this live, but did you ever hang out at the Margaret Willis field in the back?
No,
There was a group of
no.
kids from the Fayetteville Academy, or maybe that was Fayetteville Christian. I think it was Fayetteville Christian, but I was
Wasn't
present
allowed
for
out
an
of the
incident
house.
there
Come on,
one
look At me.
time.
Do I look like a kid that got to play outside? Of space camp and building robots and shit when I was a little kid.
Hell yeah, you were. Yeah, you nerd. Were you a
Big time.
nerd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It paid
I
off.
wish I was.
It's okay.
I spent a lot of my childhood trying to, be the cool guy or fit in and be in the cool crowd.
You
and
do fit in.
it
See,
didn't get
that's
me
the
anywhere.
thing. Now you got a colorful background. and
Yeah.
We can still be friends because we have
That
different
was-
experiences.
yeah.
A lot of fun.
I tell people that all the time. When I went to Westover. Are you familiar with Cumberland County
Yeah, oh,
schools?
yeah,
I went
oh,
to
yeah.
Westover in the '90s, and people are around here.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck? I said, but it really helps me because, of course, when I was 18, I moved to the Philippines, so I lived around a bunch of expats and stuff,
Yeah.
English, British, all this shit.
Okay.
So in life, in Iraq, fast forward 20 years, I'm sitting there, and we have three guys come over. Okay, I'm not going to state their business because I really don't remember, but one of them was a black dude, right? And everybody else is white, and so we all meet and have coffee and beers later on, and the black dude, the more I get to know him, he's in my office, the more relaxed he starts to get, and the more himself he starts to act because he works in an environment where he's feeling like he has to
Right.
act like,
Yeah.
and so by the time he gets around me, and I called him out on it. He was like, I don't know, man. I didn't even catch that. He said, well, you seem like you probably somebody that grew up around or have been around black folks, is comfortable around black folks because a lot of white people, they think that they are, but they're not. You start, you get around a black dude and you're like, you mind if I ask you a question? Right away, they know you ain't around.
You're about to
Do
ask
you
some
get a
racist shit.
sunburn?
Yeah.
Or they ask you these dumb questions, then you know. But if you're just comfortable around black, they can.
Did you say get a sunburn?
I've look, every time I'm around a white dude and there's like some black folks in the mix and they're not used to it, they trying to be like,
Have you ever? Okay. So,
and they ask stupid questions and I'm like, oh my God. And then I actually had one guy say, when I grew up, there were 2 different types of black people. I'm like, stop
right
shut
there.
the hell up. And I look at the black dude, I'm like, he doesn't mean what he's saying. He doesn't know any better.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
And
He
then I
means it,
pull him
the
to the
idiot.
side and
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, so what you're saying is as long as black dudes act like white dudes, they're okay.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, I never thought about it that way. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
That's why I shut you up.
That's why we didn't let you get killed right now. Yeah. Well, I was at the register. It was middle of summer, like July, August, one year downtown, and a big old black dude comes in. He was just pouring sweat. He was out there doing construction or something on the road. He comes in, and I said he wanted a sub and a drink. I said, do you want a large one? He goes, oh, Lord, please give me the large one, he says, because look at me, I'm half past midnight black. And I'm just looking at him like, can I laugh or is he going to kill me if I,
No, you can
I
laugh.
thought that was pretty funny.
You can laugh.
But there's, for some reason, I get away like, anyway.
Yeah.
I would say I'm okay around black folks.
Yeah,
but,
you're comfortable. and
'cause
you can, yeah.
I had one lady tell me put some extra crackers in the bag for her salad. I said, well, sweetheart, I can't go with you. She's stupid. So somehow I guess the face I get away with it or something.
We're going to make a short of that right there. Peter saying crack. It's cracker. So you brought up in one of your last stories there about when we were talking about opioids, you were talking about dead babies. What's your stance on abortion? What do you think about that?
Not my circus, not my rodeo.
Not your business. Hey.
So because I'm a registered Republican, I'll say this. Republicans are great at trying to force their religious values on people, but they forget that religious values means more than the difference between Baptist, Presbyterian, and Lutheran.
Right.
To be religiously free, you've got your Hindus, your Buddhists. There's a myriad religions
Right.
out there,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But sometimes these Southern Baptist folks that are in the GOP, they forget diversity in religion means more than
Right.
those denominations.
Yeah.
We also, as GOP, we're very big on pull yourself up from the bootstraps and hand up, not hand out, which I believe in, because I believe that with what we are granted in this country, good, bad, or otherwise, religious expression, we have the schools that are free to attend, there is a safety net, social safety net, good or bad, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Other countries don't enjoy these things. So Republicans are very, they need to be responsible and don't use abortion as birth control. First of all, I don't believe the narrative that any woman
I don't think so
is
either.
out there just randomly.
Maybe one out of a million.
Is there somebody that maybe they have some kind of a fetish for medical procedures? I don't think it's
Such a small percentage,
Yeah, okay. So
if that even exists.
So that's the big narrative of, well, they're just using it for birth control. So I don't find much fact in that. To me, the worst day of that woman's life is probably having to decide to get an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to politically make her life worse?
No.
Let's let her, because if you're truly a GOP and truly a Christian, don't you believe that you got to face your maker? That's going to be between you and your maker when it's time to stand at the pearly gates. If that is
If
what you
believe, yeah.
then how about we keep our hands off of it and just let that woman have a private time
Right.
and not vilify her.
But there's that. But then on the other side of the coin, you are killing a baby.
Absolutely. I don't think it's a great look. I don't agree with it, but I don't agree it's my place to tell that woman she doesn't have
I agree
a
too.
choice with her own four
When
walls,
people say
her
that
own
to me,
body.
I'm like, so?
I-
I'm not one of those people that believe that life is so sacred. I really don't. I don't believe
You've
because
seen the ugly of war. You've
Yeah.
seen the ugly of how bad human. See, when there's a serial killer, they always say, "Oh, he was a nice guy," or "What he did was inhuman." No, it was fully human.
It's fully
The range of humanity is so disgusting.
Yeah.
We can be really cruel to each other.
Really?
So she doesn't want to have the baby. She made a bad choice. She's got to make the choice to terminate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's killing a life, but
I've never
maybe
met a
she
woman
can't-
that has had an abortion that brags about it
right.
and that is happy about it.
Yeah.
Now, I know women that are pro-abortion that would be like, "Oh, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care."
That's
but you ain't
disgusting,
never
too.
been pregnant.
A lot of the people I see that, it's like you wouldn't get anyway.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
Have you
yeah,
looked
yeah.
in a mirror? I mean,
It's the same thing with
you-
the guys that are like, oh, you're not coming for my gun, government, but as soon as shit hits the fan, they're fucking
Yeah.
shitting themselves in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
their magazine and fucking
Yeah.
beating
yeah,
feet.
I experienced that in the military. Guys that were like, all the guys that were like, here, Haji, like, oh, I want to be in the shit. As soon as shit hit the fan, they were the first ones
Well, it
down
was
and wouldn't
like
get up.
Band of Brothers, remember when the replacements came in and it was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me add them. Where's the crowds
Yeah.
at? This Germany's the best place for
Yeah.
me, you know.
That was funny
it's
because my last week in Afghanistan, because I went to Afghanistan first, and while I was in Afghanistan, I was the only casualty for our whole battalion because I got smacked in the face with a slingshot from a kid. The kid was fucking around.
Oh, okay.
I turned my head at the wrong time, knocked all my fucking teeth out.
Did you get your medal for typing and stuff like that?
I was a fucking grunt, baby. I got a goddamn CIB. What you talking
you remember
about?
I'm going to get you
Yeah,
sucker.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
Medal for
typing.
typing. The chairborne ranger tab. Nah, baby, I was a grunt. So I got all the proper stuff, but yeah, the last week I'm sitting around and I got my Kevlar on, I got my vest on. I said I ain't taking no fucking chances. The chances of me getting hit where I got hit when I got hit with that rock by a 12-year-old kid were so slim, and I'm in a war zone, and you know. We were still taking like mortar
There's
rounds
still
every
stuff
now and
flying
then.
around.
There's
Yeah.
rockets,
Yeah.
107s coming in, so I'm like, man. So the last week I was very, very, very cautious. So
You were that, but see, that's bad because that's the cliche. You know, you're so careful, then that's the guy that gets killed.
Yeah,
See,
right, yeah.
Every cop movie knows that.
yeah, that's
You
true.
know.
That's
It's
true.
always the last month or the last week too.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
And you just like don't want to take
Well,
any chances.
So you had a lot of people that were rah, let me at them, and then. See,
Yeah,
I
well,
don't- I
not a
don't want- I
lot.
don't-
There was a few. It's always the guy. What I have found, the guys that aren't phased by anything. You don't know if they're scared. You don't know if they're not scared because they're brave. You don't know. They're there. They show up. They do their job. Like I'm not questioning anybody's ability to shoot, move, and communicate. But the guys who are not like hyped up, like yeah, let's go. I worked around some guys one time, and we got a radio transmission. This was when I was private military or private contractor. They said, look, on your way back, avoid 14th of July Bridge. It's hot.
Okay.
And these guys, we're all sitting around. They were like, hey, man, y'all want to take 14th of July Bridge? And there were a bunch of guys that were like, yeah, they wanted to do it because they're glory seekers.
Right.
You know, that's dumb.
Well,
Guys that are like the real deal, they're like, well, you know, finally.
I want the guy that's the quiet professional.
Yeah, that's the guy
I don't
who's
need the
real.
glory seeker. He's gonna get everybody
Yeah.
killed.
Or the guy who's talking about how many, if you ever hear a guy talking about how many fucking people he killed when he was there, he's 9 times out of 10, he's lying.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like in a bar. Okay. And I learned this the hard way, but when you're in a bar and let's say someone's talking shit to you and you don't want no part of, and they just won't stop.
Right.
That guy, you could probably, if you know how to throw a punch, block a punch, and do a little, you'd probably kick his ass.
Right.
He's not about shit. He's scared. But if you're talking shit, if you want to, say you start talking shit to a guy and he is unfazed by anything, he's not mad.
You need to watch out.
He's
with that
not
guy.
getting,
Yeah.
he just kind of smiles or maybe he even says, I'm sorry. And you know, if you're a man, you know if somebody needs to apologize. So if you step on my shoe and you apologize, okay, no problem. But if you didn't do anything and I'm just being an asshole and you apologize, you watch out for that motherfucker. that motherfucker, he's the guy that's going to walk outside and start stretching.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
going to take
ready
it to your fucking ass.
He's ready to show you.
And
what
in
he
today's
learned.
day and
Yeah.
age, when we were younger, we didn't have to, all we had to worry about is maybe we would get punched, maybe we would get kicked, we might even get shot.
You would take your punch, you'd get up, and maybe you wouldn't shake hands then, but you'd be better next
Yeah,
week.
but nowadays with the advent of mixed martial arts, you're bound to get into a fight with a guy and get fucking broke arms, broke legs because he's been training.
Right.
You know, he ain't gonna just throw a punch at you.
Well,
he's
that's
gonna
why
grab
I
your arm.
think-
He's gonna
I
fuck
think
you
we
up.
all carry because we're too old for
Yeah,
that shit.
that's
We're just
right.
gonna-
The equalizer,
I'm gonna
baby.
put him on the
The
shirt. I'm
equalizer.
gonna orphan his kids. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So, and any guy that's gonna give you a run tactically with your pistol ain't gonna be fucking with you anyway.
No,
But
absolutely.
yeah, so that's
well,
where
it's
it's
better
good
to
there.
just remember our age. Remember that not every fight's worth having,
right.
and back up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be the loudest person ever, and sometimes it comes across that maybe I don't have a position on certain things, but my biggest position with anything political, whether it's the national abortion debate or the local stuff, I very is cockily a word? Very
cockily,
very
yeah. I
very
know. I think so.
cockily?
Yeah,
Okay.
cockily.
I'm very self-assured that no matter what is in front of me, I'm going to try to give it the best thought of both sides.
Gotcha. Yeah.
How does this affect? That's why. So sometimes that comes across that I'm not committed to A or B because I think there's always a C.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not always, it's not always a losing situation.
Right. I think anybody that would insult you over that is wrong. That's like somebody saying or trying to put you down by saying that you change your mind with every book you read. If you really break that comment down, you're just like,
It's like, well, I would hope so.
I would hope so.
If I'm learning something, then yeah. And that's, I think I was on a WIDU radio show last year, and they asked me, I had my opponent there and me, and then there was like 3 people asking us questions. And they said, well, what do you think about maybe you've insulted people in the campaign and you might have to work with them? And I said, and I have a clip of this. I'd love to send it to you. It says, pretty much if you can't handle it, then maybe you're too sensitive to be on city council. And because the constituents, and I went on to say that the constituents don't care about your feelings and this, that, and the other. They want to see actions. They want to see results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
fuck your feelings. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, but I will say that when I ran City View and there was another publication, they did say that me and my opponent ran like a gentleman race. Like we didn't cut up each other. The guy was my mailman.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's still your mailman.
Not anymore. I closed it, So he doesn't know what kind of horrible stuff he was bringing me.
I'm surprised he didn't come out with all your pornography and everything you've been having delivered. Thank God they use secret boxes, right?
Well,
all your fleshlights.
He'd have to have broken into my no fleshlight. That's weird. Why is it weird for men to have those toys?
I don't know.
Women, we encourage it like,
because we're supposed to be men. We're supposed to go out and get the
yeah.
real thing. Yeah.
So, but
it ain't weird if you're deployed.
Yeah.
You find them motherfuckers laying
I've
down the
made-
hallway when you're leaving country.
Did you ever? I actually, before you could buy them, we would make them. I think that's where the concept comes from.
oh God.
I didn't like them because they were
Gotta keep it
messy.
semi-
You got to clean up. You got to clean up after you use one
just-
of those.
Like I said, there's something about a guy
Yeah.
toy that's just
Yeah.
but women, it's like, yeah, let me watch.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Here's some new batteries, but no, we ran a good campaign, and like I say, it's about.
That was the last one, right? That was the one
That
where I
was-
was like, Peter, you need to get a little bit more like fuck you.
Yeah. I was still getting my bearings and my feet, and I still. How do I put this? With the GOP people, the ones that denounce me or run their mouths about me, whatever, these little boys hiding in the shadows. The ones that I pointed at and said,
Right.
I got more votes than you did.
Yeah,
you know.
hell yeah.
They all try to channel Donald Trump.
Yep.
Okay. The problem is they're too stupid to handle Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one smart enough and qualified enough and don't depend on anybody for my income as far as that goes, that I can tell them all like Donald Trump.
That right there should be your
Okay.
campaign slogan.
I mean-
you're too stupid, and I'm the only one that's smart. That type of
You've
lack
got
of decorum, I
people-
like.
They have people that are so rah party. Like one of the things I went to early on, one of the guys running against Kathy Jensen, welcome to the party. What the hell are you talking? Like I looked at him like, what the hell is this guy? Number one, number two, what party? Like this is a GOP function for a debate for mayoral. Anyway,
Yeah.
they get a little too rah about that, and that's the guy you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that's reasonable, and even if you're a Democrat, I'm going to look out for you.
Right. Maybe. I don't know.
I absolutely will.
I just don't like the Democrat Party.
Listen,
I don't
if-
mind
if-
Democrat, the people, like I understand,
If
but
you win an
the party,
election, there's half of the people that didn't support you.
Mm-hmm.
So do you
Make them pay.
Do you piss on
Nah,
them?
you make them. Yeah,
Or
you
do you
piss all
respect
over
them enough to do and listen to them?
Obviously,
I feel
your
like
way.
I feel like everybody can be persuaded with the right subject matter.
Yeah.
Like you said, you get smarter with every book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, put me in, coach.
But I think I don't know how to do it, but getting parties out of it, because that's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Carolina Panthers, if that was pass interference on Gronkowski, the ref didn't see it, we won the game. I'm rolling with the Panthers, and I'm going to argue with you all day and be like, it was not pass interference, Peter. The ref didn't see it. Hey, I'm sorry. That's football. Because I'm rolling with my team even when they lose.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I'm using that as an example.
Yeah.
I don't watch football. So it's like that with the Democrats and the Republicans. It does not matter if you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican, staunch, and I show you where your party's fucked up, it ain't going to sway you because you're rolling with them. And vice versa.
I can also hold up a mirror and say, so the thing about them wanting me out of the party and all, I spoke to former state senator. He came and had lunch a few weeks ago, and we just sat there commiserating, or me commiserating him eating his lunch. But anyway, I described what was going on, and he just shake his head and he says, well, Democrats doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They have people that are accusing people of being party disloyal and all this BS. And in the meantime, they're not supporting their own candidates enough to get them in office. But they're bitching about, they're not loyal enough, or they're not this, or not that.
So start a new party called the No Party.
There you go. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to see the parties out of politics, but at the local nonpartisan level, they just know that if you're a business owner, you're a Republican. They don't give a shit. They don't care.
Right.
And if you've never worked a day in your life, you're a Democrat.
Right. Well, that's pretty much how that's the
perception. That's the stereotype.
That's the stereotype, but it's kind of true. Like I was thinking the other day when I was putting my shopping cart back in the bin, I wanted to record that and be like, if you don't know if you're a Republican or I don't want to support the Republican. I'm not a Republican,
right?
But I wanted to make like if you don't know if you're a woke or something like Democrat, I couldn't figure out the best way to do it, and I said this is the test, and I put my cart back. So I put my cart back. I'm a conservative.
You're gonna piss a lot of people off with that.
If you leave it out in the goddamn thing, and really, the next time you see somebody leave a fucking cart and not put it back, look at them, and with all your intuition, try to guess how they vote. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have Republicans putting the fucking cart back and Democrats leaving this. It's not my fucking job.
That's right.
That's what they get paid to do.
Well, and that's why, like, our city council was going after the shopping cart. Do you remember that a few months ago? It was like they want to penalize the stores that bring in all this revenue because somebody stole the shopping cart and used it to take groceries probably to their house.
Yeah. And that was their way of getting them because they're all over the place.
Well, they said that the city has spent $70,000 or $80,000 picking them up.
Really?
Well, okay, so you have a sanitation supervisor that has the pickup trucks.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be out anyway, so I don't know how this additional cost
I bet you that's juked.
But
that's juked like crazy.
I offered on Carolina Cabinet, we were talking about it, and I said, well, hey, you know what? Pappas Construction can do that for $60,000.
Yeah. I was going to say, why don't you put a bounty on, no, because then they'll get stolen. Yeah. I was going to say, but a lot of places like
up north, the bottle return.
Well,
and all
see,
that,
like in New York, or I'll say New York.
Aldi's got it. They got a quarter.
Yeah.
Put a quarter in, get a quarter out.
Yeah, but you can take it to the parking lot. In New York City, you can't take the shopping cart to the parking lot. It's blocked.
Oh, really?
You can only use it in the store.
Well, I think some of the CVSs are like that now.
Yeah.
The Walgreens, they have where you can't. It's anti-theft.
Because when I was a kid, that was one of my hustles. When I was up there for the summer, we'd stand there when old ladies would come out with full carts. You need help because they have to carry the bags to the car.
Wow. Okay.
So we would carry, and they would tip us like $1. And you could actually go there for like an hour and make like $15 in 1989. So, but we were working.
Yeah, you weren't picking their pockets.
And I tell you what, I went to one of the big ones. I used to do it at Key Food because it was close, but we used to walk 6 blocks to this big one. I can't remember what it was, but there were some older kids there that fucking beat our asses and ran us off because that was their.
I was gonna say they got the concession. Yeah. They got the concession.
And I'm thinking, you're like 20 years old. You should have a fucking job.
That is their job, whooping your ass.
Yeah, whooping my ass. It's kind of like a drug corner. But all right, Peter, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I want you to go ahead. I'm gonna give you the chance right now to let everybody know where to find you, what business, how you gonna make money in case one of the 50 people that watch this podcast right now want to get a sandwich or something.
So, of course, the restaurant's baldinosnc.com. You can order online. But real estate-wise and just general business, pappascommercial.com. That's Pappas.
Pappas.
Yep, Pappas Commercial. However you say it. If you have green money, I'll answer the phone. Don't worry. But,
I got you.
Yeah, so, and just about my real estate practice, just quickly, it's not your usual like pump and dump type of thing that I do try to get listings, and I do welcome those, but when people come to me in my real estate side, I'm an SBA referral partner, meaning I can help with funding for small businesses. I look at you as a client more holistically. Maybe you're not ready to rent right this moment, but if you have a idea for a business plan, I'm going to put you in touch with people to help you do that. Nonprofits in town. So anyway, so it's not just a regular, listing in, listing out, have a good day. There's a lot more to it that comes from my business background. So, and also construction. We have the steel building company that we are selling.
Okay,
some
yeah,
buildings
I
now.
remember
So,
you mentioned that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
how's that going?
we just sold another one last week.
Oh wow,
Guy over off of Yadkin Road wanted a big garage, so
hell
we'll get
yeah,
him a big garage.
I didn't know
So,
that. I could
yeah.
probably help you out some a little there. Yeah, I knew you
Absolutely.
mentioned that.
We'll
to me
see if you
before.
have anybody. You just tell me,
Yeah.
give me a footprint, and we'll get you a price in a day.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this about your real estate operation. Just you. You don't have any agents or anything working for you?
Right now, it's just me. I'm actually mentoring a couple people right now to see if they'll come on
Okay.
with me. But it's a lot of. I've been doing it 20 years.
Yeah.
And because my practice is unique, it's hard to bring.
I'm surprised you're not in like property management.
Well, that's actually the core of what I do. I manage about 27. I think it's 27 properties.
Right.
Last count or units.
You
and-
do that
Yeah.
yourself. You don't have somebody do it for you.
But it's all commercial.
Oh, commercial.
So a lot of it is just money in, money out.
Gotcha.
Make sure the property didn't burn down, and we're good. But so really, that's asset management for somebody else.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do try to get listings and stuff like that. But the prospecting and all that is sometimes it's who you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on for the second time.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a lot
I
of fun.
enjoyed it. I think we'd probably go for another 2 hours,
Yeah,
but
hell, old
we all
friends,
got lives, and
yeah.
tomorrow's Easter, so.
That's Easter for the heathens.
Yeah,
the Greek
yeah.
Orthodox, we're doing it on the Jew calendar, so it's next week.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. Well,
we're on the old Jewish calendar.
I don't know. It's just Sunday, and I know
we
my
Greeks,
dad's cooking food, so I'm going.
We
so.
Greeks, we have to be late to everything. So,
Hell yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We're out.